There we go. That should be stream going. I'm gonna be covering dungeon. Why do I keep doing that? It's probably because there's a dragon on the cover. Anyways, I'm gonna be covering Dungeon Magazine issue 1 again today. This should be the very end of it. I don't know how long the stream's gonna be. Might be a bit short compared to the other ones. I seem to apparently average well over 7 hours. Anyways, I'm gonna go grab the link and then shill it and whatnot. You can read this if you'd like, and then I'll do a quick recap because we actually left off in the middle of one of the adventures, and then I'll get right to it. Oh, hold on, I forgot to pull up the actual thing. Give me a second. Let's actually minimize this. Our lives a little bit easier. Should be able to just reopen past document. There we go. All right, saved. All right, excellent. There you go. Now everything's as it should be. I need to come grab this. And refreshy. Hey, there it is. Copy. Capybara. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That would go here. Go there. Wah. And I haven't been chilling there. The last one was here. Here we are. Wah. Very good. That should do the trick, and I'm still doing my weird ghetto thing for frickin' chat. I'll figure it out eventually. So let me move this over here. Whoa, whoa. All right. And that is good. All right. We're good to go. Let's go back down here. All right. So, before we get into that, let me quickly show you this fun little map here. So these were some of the screenshots I took from this area, just so I don't have to keep going in between pages and whatnot. But the gist of it is that the player characters. Oh, hold on. Let me go red. Make it fat. All right. They came from the capital, somewhere over here in this general direction. It's whatever, right? They came down here to the fort and had a jolly good time at the fort, and then they're supposed to go and follow the same trail the knights led, which leads them up and into the mountains. And about right here is where we diverge into like the main adventure area, right? We have like 2 little small dungeons that they can explore. But for the most part, this has been a wilderness travel adventure so far. And I mean, there's been some opportunity for roleplay with a wolf were and some giants and so on. But for the most part, it's been overland travel. And they have now arrived at the adventure location, which they might not necessarily know that. But we, as the reader and the DM, we know that. So, they end up here at the Lake Haven. I don't know if they know it's called that or not. I think that's just what the map is called, per se. It's Area I, not Area 1, Roman numeral-wise. That's just a funny coincidence. But anyways, they come on in here, and there's a fun little sideways tower they can explore. That is this little section right here. And that tower and the dragon's lair, which is at this little weird black obelisk thingamajigger that we'll see in just a second, which is this adventure location, and then over here. Wah. There we go. That's what we're going to be going over, because we went over basically everything else in this little module for this, what was this one called? Into the Fire. There we go. But I'm just going to go over my summation here. 15 years ago, the Prince Lamarin set off to an academy by sea. Their ship was raided by pirates, specifically Captain Jalusa the Merciless, which I don't know if that's going to be relevant or not, but I'm taking notes just in case. The prince's silver necklace was taken as treasure, and the prince was sold into slavery. A dragon named Flame picked up the pirate ship and flew it back to its lair. Present day, 7 knights went patrolling in the mountains. They stumbled upon Flame's lair. All were killed except Sir Huey, He found the silver necklace of the prince in the ship's treasure and attempted to return it to civilization. He got as far as the Deep Gnome's settlement before succumbing to his wounds. He was quite delirious by that point, but told the gnomes they would be rewarded if they brought his corpse and the necklace to Fort Silent. They were rewarded, and the news of the necklace... the news... rewarded, and the news and necklace... Oh, there... Yeah, no, I said it right. The news and necklace were then forwarded to the king. He's hired the party to investigate the knight's path and possibly the location the necklace came from. So basically, the king doesn't know what in the world his son's amulet was doing in the mountains. His son has been missing for 15 years now, and last he knew, he disappeared out at sea. So his son's amulet suddenly surfacing in the mountains, and only one of his 7 knights having returned from the trek basically dead. Like, there's a lot of unknowns here, so he's sending the party to go and investigate. Maybe his son is there. That'd be cool. Maybe there's an attack from that would be the west, right? From the direction the capital is. So there's all sorts of concern. Security is high alert. The patrolmen are going bippity boppity up and down the road. Nobody knows what's going on. They just know that their knights have gone missing, and that's not normal. So of course, as we went over, here's kind of like some of the stuff the party probably encounters as they go. There's my notes on what they would have experienced so far, and then the adventure location, of course, is up in this area specifically. Right here. So this is the DM's map, so you can see the trail, and you can see it's labeled like with D's and E's. Not very well because everything's very dark and whatnot, but then they would have found that they went up there, right? So that should catch y'all back up to speed. We're gonna go try and find that section in the book and then go from there. Alright, very good. I think that's it. That should be it. I do want to go to 125, I believe is where I had been having it at. It might have been 150, so that stream can maybe read along. Yeah, let's try 150. If it ends up being too large, then so be it. What? I passed it? Okay. Is this already talking about it? Yep, this is already in it. Okay. Nope, gotta go up a few pages. But I almost got there. Alrighty. Oh, yeah, here's the wolf where. E, F, G, H, I. So I is what we want. This area is depicted on the map on page 51. Numbered area references are shown on the map itself. Very good. The dragon's home is in the crater at the top of a long dormant volcano called Flames Mountain by the dragon. The crater contains a lake filled with magma-heated water rising from old lava vents. This hot springs keeps the air within the crater a humid but comfortable 75 degrees Fahrenheit, while the snowbound slopes surrounding the mountain peak, okay, very good, usually remain well below the freezing point. There is no chance whatsoever that Flames Mountain will erupt. 140 years ago, before Flame's arrival here, a young wizard named Utheon built a tower in the center of this crater, using the lake as a moat. Something I can quickly note here, we're looking for opportunities to maybe combine this with past adventures. The last major adventure in this magazine had a wizard named Amrin, I believe it was, who had a son, and his son had a map, or records rather, of Amrin's other bases, because he had a bunch of different little hideaways. If we are combining the various adventures, perhaps we make Utheon Amrin, and then we combine it that way, and then this tower here in the mountains is just one of those listed hideaways that Amrin had left behind, right? So that if the party then goes to investigate those various hideaways for treasure or to see if they've been taken over by monsters or the like, this would be an easy way to extrapolate that potential seed that was perhaps unintentionally planted. by the other module. So, just a fun little note there as I just realized, oh, another wizard. Oh boy, we can combine some things. Anyways, he lived happily and bothered no one except those evil enough to warrant his attention. Most of his experiments dealt with creating larger versions of otherwise normal creatures. See Area 3. Got it. So big creatures. Giant rats and whatnot, presumably. Actually, I can see... Would Area 3 just be this? Crocodiles, fish. Whoa. Oh, okay, so there's large fish and giant crocodiles. Got it. Okay, so that's what he experimented on. All right. We'll stop reading ahead now. 20 years later, while Flame was out searching for food, the dragon found the secret lake and decided to lair there. Flame watched, waited, and after learning enough about Utheon, attacked. Flame landed in the lake beside the tower and used the considerable might dragons possess to push the structure over into the eastern crater. Eastern crater wall. There we go. Unfortunately for Utheon, Flame's plan succeeded and the wizard was killed by falling debris, believing to the end that the volcano had erupted. Aw, poor guy. Flame decided that it was now time to make this crater into a new home. Shortly, Flame found an old lava vent on the western slope of the mountain and followed it down into a large set of ancient magma chambers. With some effort, Flame turned this into a new lair. Later, a few unfortunate gnomes were used to expand another vent on the inner side of the crater into a human-sized tunnel, and to build a portcullis/pit trap found there in Area 4A. The giant creatures in the water serve as an abundant source of food, and Flame is quite satisfied with this new home, preferring to remain here until Tiamat calls. Fair enough. Flame originally came from far to the west of these mountains, and often returns there when in the mood for pillaging. Until recently, there wasn't enough food, i.e. people, to the east to be worth invading. Now that men have arrived on the frontier, Flame plans to become a major threat to the entire Eastern Kingdom. If any characters fly in the vicinity of Area 4A, there's a 65% chance per turn that Flame sees them and learns of the party's presence. Okay, so assuming they're not just zipping by and they're actually exploring by air, that's potentially a lot of turns, in which case it's all but guaranteed that Flame will see them. Note, too, that Flame has a Rod of Alertness to tell of any thieves in the vicinity, see Area 4, and possesses an amulet of proof against detection and location, which prevents all scrying, etc. So this would be very relevant if we are combining it with a previous module, because something the party gained access to in that previous module was a scrying pool. So if they had gone to that scrying pool to try and look into solving this mystery with the knights, they wouldn't be able to see the dragon. They might be able to see inside the dragon's lair, like they might have been able to see the inside of the pirate ship, but they won't be able to see the dragon, right? Between the cliffs, read the following passage. Passing between the cliffs, the stinging cold gives way to pleasant humid warmth. Before you lies a large lake, mist rising from its unbroken surface. Around the edges to the west of you, a black beach of volcanic sand leads to a path rising high into the cliffs. Something catches your eye to the north, and you strain to see through the fog. As the mists part along the water, a disturbing sight is revealed. A solitary tower is lying off its base against the east wall of the crater. Its once smooth stone walls. Oh, I didn't read that right. Its once smooth. Sorry, I read it right. I just didn't deliver it right. Its once smooth stone walls cracked and crumbling in a lake that must have once served as its moat. The remains of the drawbridge, lead from the beach to the ruins. Alrighty. It's not a good sign. I'm already slipping. I'm going to try to get through this without drinking an energy drink. I think I can, but we'll see. If one of the characters should ascend to get a better view of the crater, He should be told of the hot springs to the northeast, Area 6, and the cave in the cliffs to the northwest, Area 4. Okay, let's start looking at this again. So 6 here is hot springs, but I thought this entire crater here was a hot spring. Is there something specifically hot springy about Area 6? Maybe it's that it dives down and it's very shallow up top and then it dives down. Or maybe those are places that are built up and it's very deep anywhere else. That'd be my guess, actually, is that these are areas that are a bit more raised and that everywhere else would be deep. Let's see what it says. Underwater contour lines are 30 feet apart. Okay. Got it. So there's definitely some deep zones everywhere else. Because then this presumably would be the surface, right? And then 30 feet between that, and so with that little dot there. And 30 feet between that and that would be 30 feet down, and then 60 feet down, and then 90 feet down. So everywhere else, this is a 90 feet deep pool. Got it. Assuming I'm interpreting that correctly, I think I've got an okay idea of what's going on there. So if people did want to enjoy the hot springs, it would be at one of these 3 locations, because that's where they can reasonably... Well, no, if it's 30 feet deep, they would just drown, huh? I guess they would just need to be, treading water next to this tower, or just hanging out on this little speck of a rock right there. Or, of course, it looks as though this side of the pool does come off from a trail, and you could probably, plop your feetsies in it, right? But otherwise, they'd fall off a cliff into deep water from basically everywhere else, if I'm interpreting this correctly. But maybe this is all... No, maybe that is a sheer cliff that leads up to it, and then this is... Because that's supposed to be a crater, so I don't know. Map is not clear. We'll leave it up to DM's interpretation. I'll stop scribbling on it. Alright. Okay. Area 4. 20% chance of spotting movement in the lake. Okay. Which would probably be the giant crocodiles. Or giant fish, I guess. And there is also a 65% chance that... Okay, basically, Flame is going to spot people, right? Flame is constantly getting high percentage checks to spot people. Flame's going to spot people. So this is just an excuse for DM roll ominously behind the screen 3 times and then cackle to yourself and then let the players do what they will with that information. That's what that is. If anyone bothers to check for tracks, he finds enough to indicate that about 6 to 8 humans or humanoids and as many horses were here some weeks ago. Okay, so signs of the Knights. Got it. These are the tracks of the missing patrol knights. The tracks abruptly scatter in all directions near Area 2 and show signs of flight and struggle. I don't think they mean flying flight. I think trying to flee. But the prints are unclear and have been damaged by an unknown agency. Okay. Blood stains cover the area, but no bones or other remains are left. Flame was very thorough in cleaning up after the knights. Fair enough. Don't want to let any of their viscera go to waste. Yummy, yummy. Fallen drawbridge. The drawbridge is relatively sturdy, though it is partially covered with slime and a bit slippery. One character may travel to the tower every 3 rounds, but must roll his dexterity. Okay, got it. Dex save against falling off the drawbridge. Okay. If more than one character tries to cross at the same time... okay, got it. So it's not entirely stable. The DM needs to give them warning if they're trying to cross 2 at a time. If they don't withdraw, I assume it just breaks. Yep, collapses into the lake. Any character who falls into the water... okay, gotcha. Crocodiles will attack. If they're flying, that works, but of course, Flame still gets a chance to see them. Right, the outer surface of tower, level 3, adjacent to area 5J. Okay. Tower level 3, adjacent to 5J. Alright. Well, here's 5. I guess 5J is probably the tower map, isn't it? Let me go over here. Yeah, 5J. Okay. So the drawbridge is adjacent to this wall, but it doesn't necessarily show that it's connecting to that wall per se. Like, it does still look like a solid wall. So, but that's where the drawbridge is at right now. Unless they're supposed to mean level 2 and 5G, because that looks like that might be like a portcullis for the drawbridge. I don't know. I have noticed there have been some mistakes in this magazine when it comes to that kind of stuff. So now I kind of second guess everything. Anyway. So 1 is passage between the cliff. Got it. So this is how they arrive. And then 2 here is the drawbridge. So that little stick is the drawbridge. And then 3 is just telling about what's in the water, which we know there's some big old crocodilators in the water. Beautiful heated lake formed when hot water is forced. Got it. The wizard liked it. Very cool. Filled the lake with crocodiles and fish to provide protection for himself. And he performed a number of experiments on them. Characters who take the time to investigate its depths may find many enlarged, reduced, and mutated fish, all harmless. However, there are also a large number of regular and giant crocodiles, which are not harmless in the least. Fair enough. And then we got stats. Woo! If anybody enters the water, he's attacked by 2 to 5 assorted crocodiles per round. There's a % chance of them being giant. And we're supposed to start using the underwater rules as necessary, that kind of stuff. Alright. The depth of the lake varies from 30 feet near the tower to 90 feet at its greatest depths. Cool. Okay, so it seems like I was correct when I was doing my weird measuring nonsense before and interpreting the map. The depth near the drawbridge is a smooth gradation from 5 feet to 30 feet. Depth to the drawbridge, 5 to 30 feet. Okay. Okay, got it. So this coastline, oh, that was too much. All right. So basically it's just saying this coastline right here presumably goes down from about 5 feet to 30 feet. But then that would that not imply that? No, that doesn't. It's whatever. It's not reflected on the map, but that's what the module says. So it is what it is. Where was I? Okay, from the southern shore to the tower. Sorry, from the southern shore. Which direction is which? Hold on. Ah, north is this way. Okay, so this is south. Got it. Alrighty. Where was I? Where was the thing about talking about south? I think it was somewhere around here. Yeah, here it is. Okay. At the bottom of the lake, just to the west of the tower's base, 2 large oval depressions can be seen if one is underwater. These were made 120, there we go. 120 years ago by Flame's rear feet when Flame pushed the tower into the eastern wall. Got it. The dragon stood underwater and is like, eh! Very cool. Also, at the deepest part of the lake, there is a small pile of treasure that has fallen from Flame's cave above. Okay. So we do know the cave is up. That does give us some details about the map that was confusing. The treasure includes a ring of warmth. Okay, so this does mean that in the middle of the lake there is some treasure and a ring of warmth. Very good. So people could go diving in the lake. And then it details other types of treasure. Very cool. Alright, so we do know that from this lake area, the cave is up. At the very least, this area here is up. So then that is down. Which then we can assume that that is also down. And given that angle, yeah. Okay, so then this would all be going down. Okay. Yeah. No, my initial assumption is correct. This all goes down into the lake. This would also go down, but in that case it goes down to this little path here. Alright. Very good. Very good. Then I was reading this correctly. So in this case, I'm just trying to figure out what's up with this split trail here now. Because wouldn't it just not be divided until you got to this point here? What does it being intentionally split all the way through there denote? So strange. Or is it just a sheer drop between here and then the bottom there, and this is just an elevated little thingy? I don't know. I'm gonna not worry about it for right now. I think I just retcon that little line isn't there, and it's just that easy, and the path splits and starts going up high, and the other one stays low and goes to the entrance. Just that easy. Alright, and then we'd start going into area 4, which is the lair. So I'm going to skip the lair for now, because I do want to finish covering the top side for right now. So let's skip over 4. Oh boy, here we go. Finally there. 5, Uthion's Tower. And then we're probably going to skip a lot of this too, because we don't want to read about the tower yet. Yeah, and then it's going to describe the floors. Okay, we can at least read this section right here. So many years ago, Uthion, a young wizard, was killed by flame when the great beast used its awesome might to knock the tower over. There we go. We know that. Now Flame has firmly established a home in the cliffs and has spent many years pillaging the tower by using captive humans and demi-humans, all eaten later. Yummy. But even after 120 years... Oh, hold on. That means that the gnomes that he enslaved to build stuff would have been eaten. So we do know that they did not return to their people to warn them of this dragon. So the gnomes only know of the dragon through, like, legends in the deep past. And they weren't from, like, building his lair. They would have been from, like, watching him fly around and maybe snacking on them. Anyways, but even after 120 years, some of the treasure remains. The tower is now partially underwater. Levels 1 through 2 are completely submerged, while level 3 is only partially so. No natural light sources exist on levels 1, 2, 3, and 5, so characters might use other means to see. Okay, so on 4 and anything above 5, they would be visible. The rest of the tower is still lit by... Oh, continual light. Got it. Very cool. That means there's some ever-burning torches that can maybe loot. Those are always fun. Or you could dispel them as a level 14 mage, apparently. The party may enter through the secret window in Area 5N underwater through the trap door on level 1, or through the portcullis and doors on level 2. Or through the hole in the roof on level 7. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to enter it. Got it. The characters enter the water, the crocodiles, and the lake attack. See Area 3. Yep, fair enough. Okay, so let's scroll past all the tower stuff. Because I don't want to look at the dungeons yet. I still want to look at the overview. Oh, okay. Well, we're almost there. It's just going to talk about the hot springs. Never mind. We're all caught back up. And then we'd already read about the Big Valley and the Deep Gnome and whatnot. Alright, so now, as far as I know, I don't think I read Concluding the Quest either, so I do still need to come back here and do the Concluding the Quest thing. But basically, we just need to cover the 2 little mini dungeons and then conclude the quest, and that's it for this. We move on to the next adventure, which is a swamp. And then I guess I skim the area after that and maybe go back up to like the letters at the top. I didn't read the letters. But I'm pretty much done. Pretty much. Just gotta finish this dungeon and then the next. Oh boy, which might be easier said than done. This seems like it's a lot to go through. Alright. So, Flame's Lair. This area is an actual lair, is the actual lair of flame. A huge, ancient, spell-using red dragon. Oh, ancient. That's scary. So despite the silly name, Flame is an actual threat. Even though this is supposed to be like a high-level party, this might end up being a bit much for even them back in the day, you know? I am cooking soup right now. So every now and then I am going to go give it a stir. And I think right now is a good time to give it a stir. I've been going for 30 minutes, so... Yeah, don't mind me, just tending to my cauldron. Alright. So he's a big old dragon. What a guy. I mean, he's been sleeping hundreds of years. I guess it makes sense. Won't be the usual hack and slash battle. Fair. 88 HP. Presumably that's very good damage. Certainly looks like it. Looks like one of those does 3d10. Yikes. Alright. He's got his fear aura, his breath weapon. He can use magic stuff. Can see invisible and hidden opponents. Good for him. Within 80 feet, that's a big range, okay. Chaotic evil. And then he's got... Oh, he counts as an 11th level magic user. Okay, so on top of being a big-ass dragon with big-ass HP, he also has some casting. Oh, he has haste. That's cool. Oh, invisibility. This is a giant invisible dragon. Don't worry about it. Polymorph other. Okay, so not himself, but other. Got it. So he can turn you into a frog. Ribbit, ribbit. Slow, presumably, is a fun debuff. Modern day, it certainly is. Anyway, Flame possesses the following magical items. Oh, he's also got more magic items. I know one of them was this amulet of proof against detection. There we go. Yeah, it's down here. But he's also got a necklace of frost resistance. Okay. He's got a brooch of shielding. Oh, with 54 charges. Okay. A rod of alertness. 21 charges. Planted securely under a ledge inside the cave. Oh, okay. So some of these aren't on him. Some of these are just in the cave, and he can maybe, like, snag it and use it. That kind of thing. Because he knows where they are. Some of them are worn, though. Like, the necklace is worn. The ring is worn. The other necklace is worn. An Ioun stone. Made invisible and whirling around its head. Okay. Iridescent. Sustains without air. Oh, okay. Got it. I think that means that he can breathe without air. He doesn't need to breathe air. So he would presumably be immune to, like, gas-based attacks and could fight underwater no problem without having to risk drowning. If I'm interpreting that correctly. If I'm not, then I don't know what an Ioun stone does by default. My assumption is that this section right here is what's telling me what it does. He knows how to use all these items through years of magical research. Fair enough. Many of these spells and items formerly belonged to Uthian. Yeah, that makes sense. His lair is further detailed below. Okay. Western layer entrance. So this is the big black shape that we saw on the other map. Right here. This funny thing. Alrighty. Summing the scenario below is in effect, read the following description to the players when the players reach the top of the path and look into the cave. You can see that this is a big old black thing. You see how tiny those guys are in front of them. Got some kind of crusader armor on, spear, maybe a 10-foot pole. Can't see the end of it. Looks like there might be a halfling thief over here. Got a nice wizard. Look at that guy. Alright. The cave you saw from below is obviously nothing of the sort. The smooth walls and squared corners indicate the work of skilled craftsmen. A shiny black stone corridor leads deep into the mountain. It extends perfectly straight as far as the eye can see. This entrance was shaped by captured deep gnomes many years ago. A dwarf has a normal chance of detecting that the corridor slopes downwards slightly, and a dwarf or gnome can immediately tell the shaft is similar to gnomish work. Yep. This was what the deep gnomes worked on before they became a snack. The corridor contains one combination portcullis/pit trap, which is activated by a lever found in the main cave, area 4B. The pit is 20 feet deep, but tilted to the east, so characters only take 1 to 6, so a d6 falling damage. The portcullis has a built-in jamming mechanism that activates when it has fully fallen. This means that a lift gates percentage against this portcullis is at negative 15% to the roll. A thief may use his climb walls skill to find, and his find/remove traps skills to remove the locking mechanism. The player characters attempting to pass by the portcullis should declare whether they are attempting to bend bars at normal chance for success. Or, if they're not bending bars, to lift the gate. Since there's a definite difference. Got it. Every action made now is likely to be very important. It is unlikely that the party learns of Flame's presence before Flame learns of theirs due to the numerous advantages, magical and otherwise, that he has over them. Flame is 20% likely to be asleep when the party arrives, but awakens at the sound of any noise in Area 4A, or any extremely loud shouts, explosions, horns blowing, etc. Which presumably if they were fighting the giant crocodiles, there could have been some of that, definitely. If not asleep, Flame is 65% likely to be looking out from Area 4B, wishing for a snack. And he might indeed see some snacks. Yummy, yummy. And 15% likely to be elsewhere in the lair or in the immediate vicinity of the lake. Oh, okay, cool. So he could just be out in the lake. So the players arrive and he's just like, "Sup, homies," and he's just bathing. and then the players run. And he says, "Ah, good, I was hoping for a chase." And then he kills them. The DM may, of course, determine Flame's location beforehand without die rolling. Okay, got it. So the DM does not have to just kill the party by making him just spawn in the lake. Understood. If Flame can act before the characters enter the cave, the following scenario is suggested. 1. Flame first casts the hallucinatory terrain spell in order to make it appear as though the corridor continues on past its normal bounds. This should allow any light source used by the party to reveal nothing but corridor, and more corridor. Okay. Flame might also cast ESP at this point. Got it, so you can start reading their minds. When a few party members have passed by the portcullis trap, Flame pulls the trap activation lever. The portcullis then falls, and the front characters must declare whether they are jumping ahead or behind the portcullis. They must also roll their dexterity or less on a d20 or be spiked by the sharpened gate for 2 to 16 HP damage. Becoming pinned beneath the portcullis. Presumably if they. Yeah. Okay, got it. Dex save against taking a bunch of damage and becoming pinned. Got it. All right. A pinned creature may free himself with a normal lift gates roll, since the locking mechanism can only activate if the gate reaches all the way to the ground. Okay. Fair enough. At the same time that the portcullis falls, a pit opens up underneath those members in the middle and rear, DM's discretion, of the party. Hold on, I thought that the pit already opened, that was part of the lever. Or does the lever also, is it doing both the portcullis and the pit at the same time? Is that what's going on? Have passed by the portcullis. Oh, okay, I see how it is. All right. So let me go over here where I can start scribbling. So the dragon's down here next to the lever, right? He's got his meaty little paw on it. Good for him. The party, perhaps because there's an illusion, right, just thinks that this is just going to go on and on and on, and they don't see anything of note, right? Because he did the illusory terrain spell. So they're just making their way into this funny obsidian polished rock cave, right? They don't know anything, presumably. So let's say some of the party members are like here, and here, right? 5-man party, that seems normal to me. So the dragon's like, that's a good spot, I'll pull the lever. And so the portcullis shoots down and tries to impale this guy. So then maybe that guy's pinned, right? Regardless, these two in the back, they have to save or fall in the pit, which we already had detailed before. The two in front, they're probably fine. They're fine. But this is, ideally the dragon times it so that it humbles like 3 or more people, is my understanding, right? But that's what's going on here. That's the recommendation. It's a funny dragon, has its funny lever. Alright, at the same time that the portcullis falls, a pit opens up underneath those members in the middle and rear. Alright, characters over the pit area fall down the shaft and take some damage, which we already knew about. Characters near the rear of the party might be allowed to jump backwards, requiring a dex save, basically. When they hear the portcullis falling, pardon me, thereby avoiding the pit trap by sheer instinct. Good for them. That's some trap sense stuff right there. That's your barbarians. The next round, while the party members are recovering and pondering their respective predicaments, Flame sends a blast of fire, his breath weapon, down the corridor, dispelling the hallucinatory terrain. That's fun. So the party just like, oh, look at this cool passageway. All right, well, let's just keep whippity-bopping forward. Got your party just unawares, just going forward. The dragon, he gets his little face up here. They can't see his face. They don't know that his face is right here. Looks more like a duck, but that's a dragon. And he's like, hey, watch this. Wah! It gets them. This is silly. This is a fun little scenario. At first I was thinking, this is a very simple, small-looking dungeon. But, like, it's really just here to kill the party. That's all this is. It's just let's kill the party. I don't know. Maybe ancient was just a descriptor, not a category of ancient. And maybe ancient doesn't mean the same thing it does to me as a 5e nut, right? Maybe the party actually does have a good chance of surviving all this. But I mean, they've already been through a lot just getting here, and then they get hecked by these traps, and then the dragon just point blank range breathes fire at them, and there's no way they're not grouped up at this point in time. They're funneled into this tunnel, right? So they're getting blazed. All party members are affected. Yeah, of course. Those in the pit take. Okay, got it. But those in the pit don't take as much damage, because presumably it's giving them some cover. Very good. What happens next depends on the situation after the first 2 rounds and the relative strengths and motivations of the party members. Should the characters in front of the portcullis, most likely the fighter types, battle the dragon immediately and risk death, there we go, or should they aid their fellow party members and risk another breath weapon attack in the following round? Got it. So there is precedent for it being able to spam. There we go. It's breath weapon back in the day. What can the characters in the pit do but escape? What can the party members in the rear do? Fair enough. So you might have some wizard... let me get back to my little funny draw place. You might have some wizards that are still back here. Maybe they can cast some magic missiles at the dragon. The fighters that are near the front, they can either charge the dragon or go and help their buddies out of the pits, and then maybe everyone retreats. They're basically just saying there's some options here, but the party gets to react to this nonsense that you just put them through, is basically what this section is reading. Assuming that there is at least 1 cavalier in the party, the fighters might attack Flame. This is initially very good for the party, because Flame retreats to the rear of the main cave, area 4B, grabbing the Rod of Alertness with a foreclaw and holding it there during the battle. This means that the characters in the pit and beyond are unaffected by any further melee for now. Okay. So if the party charges, that's actually a good thing. It gives the people in the back time to get back out and regroup and whatnot, and it allows the party to come into the larger cavern and press the dragon, whereas before they might not have been able to do that. But the fighters, on the other hand, must defeat Flame alone, and this is very difficult. Their first problem is how to get within attack range. The only ways... so this is still a little bit difficult. The only ways of reaching the rear of the cave are A, to jump or fall 30 feet down to the chamber floor and run to the dragon. Note falling damage and at least 1 round of movement. B, to run along one of the 2 ledges along the north and south walls. At least 1 round of movement. Okay. So there's ledges that go down. Are they pictured here? They're not really pictured. I mean, the ledges are technically pictured, but they don't go down. I think we're trying to go down. Right? He's on the floor, and this ledge is not going down. It's not tapering downwards. I might not be understanding correctly. Well, the rod's here. Okay, so the dragon was up here, and he does his little breath attack. Rawr, okay. And so he doesn't really retreat to the ground, he just retreats back over here to grab this. So the funny dragon pulls the lever, and he comes up here and goes rawr. And then he comes back down here to grab the rod. What good... Okay, let me reread this. Let's be fun. Okay, got it. This is very difficult. The first problem is I get within attack range. The only way of reaching the rear of the cave. Oh, okay. So, does Flame... Okay, Flame retreats to the rear of the cave, area 4B, grabbing the Rod of Alertness with a foreclaw. Oh, okay. I get it. So, he pulls the lever. Hee hee, haha, the party gets fucked. Got it. Then he goes up here, and he breathes fire. Then he grabs his rod, and then he flies back over here to this little ledge at the rear of the cave. That's my understanding. So, the fighters then either need to jump down and then go over here and then I guess climb back up, or they need to try and not fall off this ledge, or they need to fly over here. I think that's what's going on. I think that's what A, B, and C are here. Jump down to this very far chamber floor and run to the dragon. Well, maybe... Wait, what? Well, if they're jumping down, it's not very convenient to then get back up here. So is that implying the dragon is not up here? That's not what's going on, and the dragon is instead on the floor? But if that's the case, then what's the point of the other fighters that are taking the ledge? Because then they'd arrive at a place where there is no dragon, and the dragon is just down here. So they'd have to jump down anyways. I don't understand. I'm gonna go look at the other map. Maybe this says something. Alright, so the party's coming in through here, right? Here's the portcullis, here's the pitfall. So, our good friend retrieves his little object and then retreats to the back of the cave. So he's either back here or back up here. It's not exactly clear. Either way, the parties expect to either jump down and then what-da-da-da-da, or go around on this ledge, or this ledge presumably, or fly. Yeah, no, this map isn't making anything more clear either. So the dragon's either on the ground here or scrunched back up here. Well, he's probably not big enough to scrunch back up there, so he's probably on the ground. So I'm assuming what they're expecting is if you do round the ledge here, that you have some way to, like, throw rocks at the dragon or throw javelins at the dragon and whatnot. And that being on this ledge above the dragon is favorable to you in some way. And it still allows you to attack the dragon. Because if not, then you'll just get back here and then you have to jump down anyways. I think that's what's going on. Or at least that's how I want to run it. Because otherwise I don't understand. Meanwhile, Flame acts. If the characters in front remain together and still appear to pose a major threat. Okay, so basically if there's like 3 or more knights with glowing weapons, if there's knights with magic weapons, very cool. Flame uses a breath weapon again. If the characters have split up or appear weakened, Flame casts haste on itself and attacks physically. Okay, so it says physically, but I assume it's supposed to be physically. Also note the possible uses of Flame's other offensive spells, Slow, Magic Missile, and Polymorph Other. If Flame defeats the first group and the rest of the party attacks and appears powerful, the dragon will retreat to the Sleeping Cave, Area 4C. Block up the entrance with a large rock and the weight of the dragon's own body and recuperate there. No amount of physical force exerted from the other side could possibly clear this entrance. Flame remains on guard, however, against any magic users who breach this barrier. Remember ESP. Got it. So he can be reading their minds on the other side of his little rock barrier he's created. And if the magic users are about to do something tricky that would breach this, he knows and he can react accordingly. Flame is very intelligent and extremely cunning. The breath weapon is Flame's most powerful attack, and Flame's life is the dragon's most prized possession. Fair enough, you don't want to die. If Flame's life is severely threatened, another escape attempt is made by flying over, past, or through the characters and into the Sleeping Cave, Area C. Didn't he already just go in there? Whatever. The dragon then blocks entry. Yeah, okay, okay. So it's just reiterating. Here's what's new, though. Cast invisibility on its body and escapes through the back door, Area 4E. Alright, so that's the new addition here. They were just restating his escape plan. Flame has no problem forcing a way through the characters unless they are capable of holding back many tons of flying monster flesh. Fair enough. However, each character is allowed 1 free attack at +2 to hit if within melee range, or 1 spell attack if less than 3 segments casting time as the dragon flees. Hold on. I'm assuming that's just some AD&D terminology I'm not understanding. It's fine. Should the fighters remain to aid the party's members, and the party is obviously very powerful, Flame uses a breath weapon again. Flame's intention is to split the party up and deal with each group individually. Got it. So Flame does not want a united party. That's the entire point of that initial trap, was meant to divide them. And then the Flame Breath was meant to aggro them. And short of them not being aggroed, he's not against just going back up there and seeing if they can tank a second Flame Breath. Which, spoiler alert, they probably can't. The characters happen to give up, they are instructed to drop all their belongings over the edge, including all clothing. The dragon then casts haste on itself and eats them anyway. Ah! All right. This is a fun dragon. If the characters surrender, he makes them strip and throw their belongings, including their clothes, into the hole, and then he just eats them. There is no true surrender. There is no living. He's just like, oh, you're just, all right, I will allow you to surrender, wink, wink, and then just eats them while they're naked. Casting haste on itself first. Gotta make sure you eat them real quick. Can't need to eat them in a single round. Can't be taking like 1 round per morsel. Nope. Gotta eat them all right now. But he doesn't like cooked meat, so he's not gonna breathe on them anymore because it spoils the taste. If these characters are somehow able to defeat Flame bare-handed after their items are removed, they will have accomplished quite a feat. Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. I'm pretty sure they're just dead, though. If the characters win, the treasure is theirs, with a few hitches, of course. It's possible that Flame's body blocks the entrance to the rest of the lair, requiring many hours to remove. Even after removing the body, the amount of treasure is tremendous and requires many weeks to catalog, identify, and haul away. Fair enough. Alright, so let me go back up here and note those 2 things. So area 4C is where it retreats, that's the sleeping room where it can block off, and then 4E is an exit that it will turn invisible to go to. Alright, so let's say good old Flame did get cornered here. The party was able to make its way over here to like this ledge, and maybe there's some wizards casting from up here, and there's a row of fighters here, right? The dragon's not having a good time of it, so the dragon just barrels past them, flies over their heads, goes in here, goes past here, and then makes a barrier of rock here. So let's resituate. So there's a nice little barrier here. The dragon's right here. Right, and he's pushed up against the barrier, so it stays in place. The party, if they give chase, they're here, and the wizards are like, huh, I bet I could make these boulders move and be cool, and we can get at the dragon, and the dragon's like, aha, I read your mind, I know what you're doing. So the dragon turns invisible, and then goes over here to 4E, where presumably there is a way to escape. Very good. That's what's going on. That's what this encounter is supposed to be anyway. Now, if the dragon does die in this room, then there's a possibility that its corpse blocks this path, and then the players have to painstakingly move the dragon before they can get past it into like the treasure and stuff. Okay. Alright, I think I understand. So we need to go and read 4C now. That's the resting area. Let's go down there. Oh, never mind. We still haven't read the main chamber. Oh, that was just a description of that was attached to the entrance. All right. Main chamber. This rather large chamber was formed when the volcano cooled. The charcoal black walls are rough in places and glass-like in others. The relatively large hole lies to the south and leads to Flame's sleeping chamber, area 4C. A ledge runs around the chamber at the same level as the small eastern entrance, area 4A. The floor of the chamber is 30 feet below the east entrance and the ledges. Okay, so these ledges are a 30-foot drop. Got it. A lever that operates the portcullis/pit trap in the area, the pit trap that was in area 4A, is placed 10 feet below the easternmost ledge, out of reach of normal characters, either on the ledge or on the floor of this chamber. Indeed, characters are unable to see the lever at all until they advance further into the room. Fair enough. Let's go and scribble again. Because the lever is right here, right along this wall, looking out, they're not going to be able to reasonably see it. It's too low. So they need to be down here and be looking towards it, or they need to be right here and look straight down upon it, right? Not that that super matters. They don't need to know how the dragon did the Hakumble thing before. They'll figure it out later. Alright, sleeping chamber. Read the following. You enter the chamber to see what was obviously the sleeping chamber of a great dragon. Tons of assorted clothes, furs, and cloth lie heaped on the ground, fully 20 feet thick at its deepest point. You can't help but think about all the beings that have been slain just to make this beast's bed. A large headboard that appears to be made from the outer wall of a house has the word flame crudely burned into it. An incredibly large rock lies next to the north entrance, and the glint of gold comes from the opening to the west. This is Flame's main sleeping chamber. Most of the clothes and furs are permanently soiled and useless. Fair enough. He's been sleeping on it and hibernating for tens of years at a time. Some are still valuable, though. Alright. A total of 2,000 gold worth. Deep within the mound, in the southeast corner, a robe of blending is buried. Okay, whatever that means. Note that a detect magic spell does not immediately reveal its presence, but the robe's undamaged and unsoiled condition may give the party a clue as to its true nature. Got it. So I'm assuming blending has like a natural effect against being magically detected. It sounds like it's some kind of stealth type robe. So I'm assuming what they're denoting is that detect magic would not normally detect this robe because of the way it's like stealth magics interact with that spell. But like if all these other clothes are covered in dragon shit and there's like one gleaming robe out there, I mean, yeah, that'll stand out is what it's saying. All right. So the actual bedroom itself is pretty simple, and then the treasure chamber, this is where the ship is. So I assume that this lump here is the boulder, where Flame can just move that in place, and then he doesn't have to worry about things for a little while. He can be psychic and read their minds, and if they're gonna come past, then he can come back over here and escape, right? But then they go from here, and then here we are to 4D. At last, you see the treasure of treasures. Oh wow, you see the treasure of treasures, the dragon's hoard. The ransom of a king pales in comparison. The incredible might and ancient age of the dragon becomes apparent as you try to drink in the hundreds of contrasting period pieces. An imperial coach rests atop a massive pile of coins, its strong box precariously balanced on the roof. Even from this distance, you can see a pile of jewelry within. Okay, okay, got it. Now your eye catches a silver-tipped beam of wood jutting away from you. You follow it back to its source and see the entire hull of a merchant's ship on one side of the cave. Scarred and battered, it lies tilted toward you with its masts broken off. Out of the ruptured hull spill the jewels of 1,000 royal houses. Hundreds of similarly interesting artifacts duel for your attention. For a few moments, the sheer immensity of wealth holds you in a trance. Besides the items on the dragon's body, note that the Ione stone is invisible. Flame's treasure is considerable and contains adventures in itself. A general overview of the treasure follows, which should be developed in more detail by the DM. The hoard is large, but the risks in getting it are also great, and the chances that all of the treasure can be recovered are low. Note, only give experience points for treasure that the PCs actually haul away. Fair enough. Gold to XP was a thing back then, so It's basically just saying that, like, yeah, no, they don't get a million XP for this entire horde. Just the stuff they can take away. Very good. I don't actually know if I want to read all this or not. Yeah, okay. We'll read this. A Mall of the Titans, pardon me, can be found underneath a pile of ruined dwarven possessions and fire giant bones. Okay, cool. So there's a giant maul here from a dead fire giant. Pardon me. Yeah, some kind of hiccup thing going on. A cloak of fire resistance is beneath an ever-burning brazier, whichever is the one that's not women's undergarments. The cloak is bright red and floor length, embroidered in silver with it. Okay, it's just describing it. Sounds like it's got a cool description. Very good. A ring of swimming that Flame often used when fishing sits atop a glass steel aquarium worth big money, filled with a bunch of throwing daggers and 8 miniature figurines of goldfish made from solid gold. Okay. A pot of gold sits atop a pile of little bones. An ex-leprechaun. All right. So he killed a leprechaun and got his pot of gold. Good for him. This silver pot with a shamrock pattern of semi-precious emeralds does not radiate magic, but if 100 gold is placed within, the pot glows and a rainbow springs forth. The rainbow is 20% likely to attract 1 to 4 other leprechauns. Uh-oh. The disposition of the leprechauns depends entirely on the alignment of the user. They always take the 100 gold as payment for their trouble, however. The pot can only be used once per day. Gotcha. So, it's got emeralds in it, and if the party adds 100 gold to it, 1 to 4 leprechauns come and try and take the gold. And maybe they brawl with the party too, depending on the party's alignment. So, you waste 100 gold summoning some leprechauns, unless it does seem as though leprechauns drop pots of gold. And that by pots of gold, they mean pots of precious emeralds. So maybe this is a way to just infinitely spawn leprechauns and defeat them for XP and emeralds? I don't know. I'm sure there's something in here somewhere. I don't know what a leprechaun does or what its pot of gold is supposed to do, but... Anyways, it exists. In a separate pile of bones... in a separate pile of bones are... Oh, okay, got it. It's just a separate pile of nonsense. There's a small travel log. Further investigation reveals that the remains are those of the 6 missing patrol knights, along with their riding saddles, tack, and saddlebags. Okay, cool. So you can find the corpses of the knights. Well, not really the corpses, but... Well, no, a pile of bones. Yeah, you can find the corpses. Kind of. The log mentions all the geographical features along the party's route, minor monsters encountered and slain, the account of a sudden winter storm, and the subsequent finding of the lake. The last entry describes the area in detail, and then leaves off with the knights heading for the drawbridge and tower. The scribbled word Drago ends the account. 3 suits of plate mail, a +4 dagger, a battle axe +2, and a large shield +1, +4 versus missiles. Okay, so the shield itself is a +1 shield, but it has +4 against missiles. Got it. Lie among the bones and lost knights. A cursed 2-handed sword, -2, lies by the remains of a ranger who thought he was wielding a weapon of great power. The sword functions as a +2 weapon in the hands of any reptilian being. That's cool. So if you've got a lizard person in the party, it actually is a +2 great sword. If you're not a lizard though, it's a curse. You actually don't hit as much. The ranger's belt has a secret compartment inside in which a platinum wire garrote, 50 gold, is hidden. Okay. Garrote? Maybe it's Garrett. I don't know. Anyways, there's a dead ranger with a funny cursed sword. A large platinum chess set, valued at big money, sits atop a table, obviously in mid-play. The pieces are shaped in the forms of various creatures of good and evil. Flame often played chess against himself or captives, but he hate those who beat him. Oh, good. That's a fun image. If you beat me at a game of chess, I'll let you go. And then they beat him and he's like, I lied, and then eats them anyways. I like this dragon. He's just a big dumb himbo. A big dumb evil himbo. Very good. The royal carriage is made of oak, inlaid with gold, silver, jade, and mother of pearl. On top of the carriage is a large chest containing a diamond-studded tiara that's worth big money. Inside the coach is a matching scepter of solid electrum. Ew, yucky metal. That has a big money diamond at the head. All right. But total is worth even bigger money. Whoa. The carriage itself is worth big money. All right, so this carriage, if they have a way to just take this carriage with them, that's a ridiculous amount of gold in its own right? But on top of that, if you can shove that carriage full of stuff and then take it with you, that's the stuff. That's the ticket. How they'd accomplish that, I don't know, because most spells can only lift a certain amount of weight, and I assume that was the case back then as well. But still, it would make it easier to carry if it's like a combined effort. Or if the carriage is still operationable, if you can get it out to like a decent road, then maybe the wheels can do some of that lifting for you, so to speak. So you just really need to get it out of the cave, right? The ship is called the Scorpion. It is a slightly crushed, medium merchant ship, once used by pirates to the east. It requires 7,000 gold of repairs, but can be sold for 30,000 gold when fully operational. Okay, so if you invest in some repairs, then it becomes a big treasure. Can't forget. It's an investment with a big payout. There we go. That's a better way of phrasing that. Pouring out from the ruptured hull and merging with the dragon's larger hoard are a boatload of silver, a bunch of electrum, a bunch of platinum, and 17 crates of silks. They're also worth quite a lot. And crates of spices that are worth a pretty penny. Alright. Inside the ship can be found many artifacts of pirate life, including a treasure map showing the location of a great treasure. It's actually false, but it makes for a nice wild goose chase. Got it. Yep, go send the party on a false adventure. The captain's papers reveal important data about the pirates' raids. The captain himself was a source of intrigue, the infamous Jalusa the Merciless. Okay, so we do get a confirmed gender. Jalusa is male. Alright. Who disappeared over a decade ago. If the party investigates this topic in a nearby port, it discovers that there is still a reward out for his capture, or information. Probably information. For his capture or information on his whereabouts, dead or alive. This reward, including 10 years back interest, now stands at 10,000 gold. Should the papers of this ship be examined closely, the party finds record. Okay, I'll get to that in just a second. But it looks as though whether or not they bring the corpse back or not, which doesn't seem like they have the corpse, they can still bring back evidence that he's dead and collect 10,000 gold, which is very nice. Should the papers on this ship be examined closely, the party finds records of numerous transactions with slavers and a log detailing Jalusa's exploits. A further search of the ship reveals 2,000 gold worth of royal clothing, sized for a young boy in a footlocker. Yeah, that'd be the prince, I believe. And certain other documents prove conclusively that Jalusa was behind the young prince's disappearance. Got it. So the party can, the evidence is still intact. The party can discover what happened to the prince. One bill of sale is obviously for the young prince and reveals the buyer and location of the transaction. Oh, this was 10 years ago. I thought it was 15 years ago. Hold on a moment. I thought that the ship got taken by the dragon 15 years ago. Is this just a typo? I think it's just a typo. That they changed it to 15 and then just forgot to change it here as well. Anyway. Regardless, you can track down the prince. You at least know who the prince initially got sold to. Maybe he died in labor, or maybe he's a gladiator in a pit somewhere, or maybe he's free and is somewhere living life just fine and just never got around to returning home. There's a lot of things you can do with that little loose plot point, but presumably that's still information you can bring back to the king to be like, hey, we have a lead now on where your son is, right? He was presumed dead, been missing 15 years, but no, he's still out there, potentially. Like, he might have been worked to death, he might die, he might have some scars by now, and maybe be missing some fingers if he was a bad slave, but I mean, he could still be out there, right? So that's some good hope for the king, maybe. Beside the ship are 12 chunks of adamantite stolen from a dwarven mine to the far southwest. They each weigh a big amount of weight calculated in gold. Alright. And are pure enough that a highly skilled blacksmith or armorer can fashion them into items capable of holding a +5 enchantment. The adamantite is worth up to 7,000 gold per chunk to the right buyer. Flame was able to learn a number of spells, unlike other dragons, though still restricted to the total of 8 spells per day, 2 each of 1st through 4th levels. Flame created and kept regular spell books containing the following magic user spells, and then it lists a bunch of spells. Alright. These 4 books, 1 per spell level, are wrapped in a mammoth's hide, worth big money, and tucked safely in a niche 12 feet off the cave floor. Okay, so that's kind of tucked away a little bit. Might be a little bit difficult to get to, but you can find a bunch of wizard books. Each book is made from carved wood plates designed by a wood carver that Flame ate later. Very good. And weighs about 10 pounds per small plate. The value of this work to a sage or magic user varies from 5,000 to 30,000 gold. Also present are 15 assorted potions, 8 scrolls, 6 in druidic and cleric, 2 in magic user / illusionist, bunch of gems. I'm just gonna start skimming. There's a lot of loot here, but I'm trying to find if like any of it's plot relevant, like we saw with the section with the prince and the pirate ship. There might be some stuff to read into there, but I don't care. In addition, okay. Catalog and hauling material. Alright. Yeah, it's just saying this is a pretty daunting task if you're properly cataloging this and hauling it away. Fair enough. I mean, it's already been a daunting task for me just reading the loot. Goodness gracious. The DM may add or delete from this hoard as he or she sees fit, in accord with the campaign structure and the difficulty of the quest. Remember that every item, valuable or not, has a past. Feel free to let your creativity loose and give the players a sense of over 400 years of campaign history. The only entrances to this chamber are to the east, unblocked, and the west, blocked by a massive boulder. To the east lies a sleeping chamber, which we already know about, and behind the boulder is Flame's personal entrance and exit, a large volcanic shaft. Got it. So we'll read that in just a second. I'm going to go stir my cauldron again for just a moment. And then I'm going to try and... You know what? No, I'll finish the volcanic vent, and then I'll summarize this area. This has been a lot, though. Goodness gracious. Okay. That should do it. I turned the dial down as low as it would go. It can just slow cook from now, because it looks done for as far as I'm concerned, it's done. So it can just sit there and be warm. I added water to it, so it's not gonna burn itself. The broth had been close to evaporating, so that did need to be done. But that should be yummy. Oh, I've also got some celery here with me. I don't know when I'm gonna snack on that. I can't really snack on that while reading things. But the thought was there. Maybe someday I get to eat this celery here. Anyways, volcanic vent. This is the entrance to Flame's lair. Okay, got it. Yep. This description of it. The lower entrance is always blocked from the inside. Yep, by 2 gigantic boulders. 3 people must simultaneously roll their the checks. The upper hole is covered from above by an old rock's nest that Flame acquired 50 years ago. The hole is detectable as a secret door from above. Okay. Let me go see if it says 4E on any of these maps. Well, not this one, but 4E's ready. Okay, got it. So here's the rock nest. Very good. So it looks as though when the party comes in here, there's all this fun little lake and whatnot they could explore, right? But otherwise, they probably take this route here to enter the dragon lair, or they take this route, and then if they're curious about this this rock's nest, they can climb this cliff up here and investigate that, and then maybe that leads them into the dragon's lair. But even once they get down here from the rock's nest into this room right here, they still need to move these boulders. So they can backway themselves into the loot, and if the dragon is like taking a nap over here, then maybe they can get away with it. But I mean, to me that seems just as dangerous, if not more so. Well, no, I think coming in through the front door is still more dangerous, because the dragon can use his trap and split up the party potentially, and has ways to retreat and block things off. Whereas here it's a lot more direct. It's just a matter of, yes, we're scrambling over this pile of gold, and the dragon is awake now and is going to come and humble us, and we're going to try and panic and escape back up through the rock place. So I think the ideal route for the party is still to go down the nest and then get the drop on a sleeping dragon, but that's not very likely in my opinion. Anyways, that should do the trick. Let me go and type some notes, and then we'll go read the Wizard Tower. No, I need Firefox. That's what I need. Okay. This talks about the ancient statues. Where's the last time I talked about stuff? All right. Back to the adventure area. The map calls it Lake Haven. It's a crater warmed by a dormant volcano. Creating a large hot spring lake. The wizard Utheon, was it? Double check that. Utheon, hey, good for me. The wizard Utheon imported various fish and, is it crocodiles or alligators? I've already forgotten. Oh, I gotta scrub a lot, don't I? Well, I'm still scrolling, I guess. Here we go. Crocodiles. All right. No, not quark. Crocodiles who live in the lake. All right. He had been experimenting with the enlarge/reduce spell, resulting in giant crocodiles and fish of varying sizes. Very good. Also brings two separate words. Let me go correct that. All right. The dragon tilted his tower, and the debris killed him. This happened, what was it, 120 years ago? I think that's right. 20 years ago. The dragon has dropped some of its treasure into the lake on accident, including a magic ring. I guess I should go and grab that. Boy. Where's the section where it talks about the lake? The lake is labeled 3. Okay, so it's probably 3. Ring of warmth. Okay. A ring of warmth. The crocodiles are aggressive, but the party may want to brave them for the ring, or to use the aquatic entrance to the wizard's tower. I guess by accident. Sure. Flame's lair itself has 2 entrances. One is a polished black corridor that is quite approachable by humanoids exploring this lake. The other is hidden under a roc's nest up a sheer cliff. Very good. Okay, I know it doesn't like me spelling rock like that. The main entrance features a pitfall and portcullis. Hold on. Sure, we'll combine it. Trap tied to a lever situated for the dragon's use inside the cave. It's likely the dragon knows the party is coming and casts hallucinatory terrain, causing the entrance hall to look long and deep and not reveal the dragon about to pull the lever and breathe fire upon them. Very good. Oh, that one's the E. Fair enough. Alright. The dragon encounter seems deadly. Various tactics are detailed, and the dragon has a solid escape plan. Alright. I don't think I need to detail at all. It does mean that future Derek, if I go too long before I film the actual video and I don't have it memorized, I will need to go and reread that section. But for right now, I think that's fine. I think I need to refamiliarize myself with that scenario anyways. Especially if I'm gonna like do a little thing where I draw on the map and figure this stuff out and wobbity woobity wop wop wop. So I think it's fine if I force future Derek to reread it. Besides, I don't think I can summarize that very well right now anyway. Alright. Well, we can keep it on this line. His treasure hoard is immense and well worth the trouble. There are some possible side quests one could follow up on, given by the items in the hoard. There is also records of who the prince was sold to, still intact on the ship. Very good. Yeah, I agree. We need a comma there. There is also, there are also, sure, yeah, we'll go R. Alright. I think that does the trick. I think that's a good summation of all this dragon-based nonsense without, like, getting super lost in the reads. So we are summarizing multiple pages worth of dragon-based shenanigans. We can go read the Wizard's Tower and then finish the adventure and be done with it. Be done with it, silly dragon. Alright, so we already read this beginning part. We do know that there are multiple entrances, so I'm going to try and reread this beginning part, and then I'm going to go mark the entrances as they come up. No natural signs. Party might enter through the secret window in 5N. Okay. Alright, so let's go to our little 5N. So here's an entry point. Wop. Very good. Underwater through the trapdoor in level 1, or through the portcullis and doors on level 2. Okay. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, level 1. So the trapdoor is right here. I'm just gonna draw another arrow. Oh, that arrow looks like ass. Alright, better arrow. Good enough. Or the portcullis into. Alright. Or through the hole in the roof on level 7. If the characters enter the water, the crocodiles in the lake attack. See area 3. Okay. So, well, I don't know about that pitfall there, but apparently at level 7 they could just fly in here. So let's just go like that. That'll communicate that. Alright, so there's lots of entrances. I believe that 5J, they said that the bridge presses itself up against 5J. I'm not sure if that's going to be relevant, but I'm going to draw that just to note that. And I think that's a good starting point to help me understand what's going on here. All right. Nope, that's not what I want. Here's what I want. The following room and floor descriptions refer to the mans of Uthian's tower. What do you mean by the mans? Do you mean maps? Is that supposed to be a P? The maps of Uthian's tower on page 58. That makes sense. It's probably supposed to be maps. Okay. All the stairwells are filled with varying amounts of debris, and each requires 1 to 6 man-hours to clear. Oh, okay. Got it. So going up and down the stairs is not super viable. They take hours to clear. But level 1. This level was formerly used as a dungeon. It contains 5 cells, all open and empty. There is a trapdoor in the floor which leads to the lake. It was formerly used to feed the crocodiles. There is also a set of stone stairs going up to level 2, located in the center of the room. If the party enters from above, area 5G, and has not already dealt with the crocodiles in the lake, there are 1 to 3 crocodiles in the water. The DM should then amend descriptions accordingly. Okay, got it. So there might be some crocodiles in the water. So if they enter from the top and then go down into the water, there's probably some crocodiles in the basement. But otherwise, it's just a prison. There doesn't appear to be anything of note. There weren't any prisoners or any loot mentioned or anything like that. This is just an alternate entry and a alternate place where they can find crocodiles. So level 1's pretty basic. We don't need to care about it. Level 2. This level was the main entrance hall. 5G. Okay. I always keep mentioning 5G. What is 5G? Well, 5G is level 2. Never mind. Don't mind me. That's where the portcullis comes in. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. The remains of a massive pair of doors lie against the bottom of the chamber. Okay, got it. So the doors got smashed in, but the portcullis is still intact but bent. Okay. A character may attempt to lift the portcullis from the outside if a successful lift gates percentage is rolled at -10% to the roll. Pardon me. Flame often drop prisoners inside this room and then watch them drown. What a fun dragon! While holding the portcullis closed. Flame subsequently ate them. Never let food go to waste. This dragon tickles me. There are 3 entrances to this level. Up the stairs from level 1, down the stairs from level 3, or by removing the portcullis. Got it. So the dragon would swim down a little bit, remove this portcullis, shove some people in, put the portcullis back, and then just giggle to himself as he watched them drown. What a fun pastime. And then once they're dead, he of course removes the portcullis, grabs his snackies, and then goes down to town and feasts on them. Yummy, yummy. So, level 1 was nothing. That's just where prisoners would be, but there were no prisoners. Level 2 is just Flame's entertainment/torture room. What's level 3 then? This level is used as the barracks and guest rooms for Uthian's guards and visitors. It has remained completely untouched since the tower's fall. The gathering room. This room is completely submerged. It was once a small gathering area for the guests, complete with a table and 4 chairs, all rotted with time and merely shells of their former grace. A silver candelabra rests on the low end of the chamber. Cool. So there's a little bit of loot. Guest rooms I through L. These are also the guard rooms, sorry. Each room is identical and contains a bed, small dresser, wooden chests, and a small mirror magically attached to the stairwell walls. Rooms 5I and 5L are underwater, while the others remain dry. The guest rooms 5I and J are soundproofed, not silenced. Okay. So they just have some good soundproofing, but not magically soundproofed. If the party enters room 5J, read the following. As you enter the door, an eerie glow is revealed, lying beside a long dead soldier. Lying beside a long dead soldier, armored in full plate and shield, is a brightly glowing longsword. Cool. Magic sword. Here lies the skeleton of a long-dead knight, Sir Frederick of the Wolnars, the bodyguard of Utheon. His body is still wearing a set of full-plate armor +1, a shield +1, and a longsword +3. Got it, he has some good equipment on him. Note that the armor and shield will glow if worn by a living being able to use said items. Wait, so why is it glowing while he's dead? Hold on. So does the sword just naturally glow? Oh, no, okay, so the sword just naturally glows, but the armor and shield will also glow if they're being worn. Okay, got it. But otherwise, the sword just is always on. Glows brightly. Okay, I should have just kept reading. I'm an idiot. The body is partially buried under rubble. Bleh, where Sir Frederick, oh boy, was trapped and died. No other persons besides Sir Frederick and Utheon were present when Flame attacked. Those who returned later were eaten. Fair enough. So he had friends, he had other guards and whatnot, but they were out and about when the attack happened. And when any of those friends came to visit, they became Dragon Chow and possibly drowned to death, because apparently it's a thing Flame likes to do. The longsword's name is Meronis, and it is it's a talking longsword. Ego weapons, hell yeah! Neutral good ego weapon. It speaks dwarf. It speaks gnome, as well as its alignment tongue. Okay, it also speaks good alignment. It has an ego of 8 and possesses the following abilities: detection of traps of large size in a 10 feet radius, detection of evil/good in a 10 feet radius, and detection of gems, kind, and number within a 5 feet. Okay, so it can detect your treasure, basically. It can also detect what kind of gems those are and how many there are within a 5 feet radius. So you can stand next to a treasure chest and be like, Meronis, what's in this chest? Any gems? And the sword can go, yes, there's 5 gems, and they are all agate or whatever, and they would sell for about 20 gold, let's say. That's an example. At least that's my assumption of what that ability does. The sword can see through a gem set in its hilt above the hand grip. Sorry, and so there's the hand grip, and it'd be okay, got it. So it's not like the hilt, but they're counting the entire lower part of it as the hilt. When someone approaches Meronius, the sword shrieks piercingly for rescue. Oh, mercy me, please, I require rescue. I've been here for so long, please. If a dwarf or gnome holds it, the sword uses the appropriate language, dwarven by preference. If not, Meronis will use an alignment tongue. Okay, whatever that means. I'm just going to assume it speaks common. There's one major problem with Meronis. It has been trapped alone in this room for over 120 years and is a bit screwy. Fair. Should it be rescued by a party member, the sword never ever allows that character to leave it alone, anywhere, anytime, for any reason, including taking baths, etc. Oh, it's a clingy sword with abandonment issues. Oh, it's kind of sweet. Like, it's fucked up, yeah, but it's also like, oh, please, don't leave me. Take me in the bathroom. What? I don't want you to. I'm a sword. What am I gonna do? I don't care about whether you're naked or not. Just take me with you. I don't want to be alone. The sword is very worried about being deserted again and screams as loudly as possible until brought along. Some of you are just like, no, I'm not gonna bathe with you. That's weird. It'll just start shouting until you come back for it. This poor sword. It's also afraid of the dark. And always glows at full strength equal to the light spell. At night or in darkness, even in a scabbard. Alright, so the scabbard could probably block out the light, but it's sure is doing its hardest to light up that scabbard, and there might be like a little bit of light peeking through the cracks of that scabbard if it's not like perfectly flush. The DM should have some fun with Miron. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I imagine I could have some fun with this magic sword. This is a cool-ass magic sword. And not make it too much of a liability. Okay, I assume that mean but not make it too much of a liability. Got it. Yeah. That's my assumption of the intention here too. Is that Moronis is supposed to still be a likable and useful sword, just a little bit clingy and quirky, we'll say. A well-played sword adds a lot of flavor to a character's treasure hoard. Yeah, absolutely. Moronis knows the exact nature of Sir Frederick's armor and shield, but knows nothing about how the tower was toppled or exactly how long this sword has been lying here, i.e. he'll answer forever. How long has it been since the tower toppled and your master died? Forever. Okay, Moronis, thank you. I'm so glad you're here now. Never let me out of your sight. Should the party wish to resurrect Sir Frederick, remember that he's been dead 120 years. Fair enough. The DM should assume that he was a neutral good cavalier of 12th level with very high ability scores. Create all statistics as desired. If brought back to life, he asks for the return of his magic items, including Moronis, and offers to aid the party for the duration of their mission. He would especially like to find Uthian, his liege and friend. Oh, that's sad. I mean, because of this big old time limit, like, you've got to be like some kind of high-level cleric to be able to do that. At least in 5e, right? I don't know. Maybe it was easier to do back then. But 120 years means like you need like what, greater resurrection or whatever it's called? Whatever, true resurrection? Whatever that high tier of it was, I believe, is what you would need for that. Or the wish spell, right? You could wish for this knight to be brought back to life, but that'd be one hell of a wish. I hope Uthian also has a corpse that can be brought back to life, because if not, that's sure is depressing. Alright, the doorway opens into a dining area. A very large ornate table lies toward the bottom of the chamber, with a number of broken chairs scattered amongst the wreckage. There is an open door on the left. No items of value are present. Hold on, let me double check which room this was. This was 5J. Alright. So. 5J. Alright, got it. So it's this room right here. That's the room where hold on a moment. The doors just link into each other. So in order to come from here, the staircase, right? You need to go through a door to get there. That's kind of intrusive. What if someone's sleeping at that hour for guest rooms? That's interesting. I mean, maybe these two rooms here are like for gathering and eating and whatnot. Hey, Leo. Eats more slime girls. It has a magic talking sword that is crazy. That's more than enough. I like the magic talking sword. It's crazy. All right. Where was I? Dining room, kitchen. Okay. Not good enough. More slime girls. Well, there's slime on like the little bridge that leads to the tower. We can put some slime girls on the bridge. Well, there used to be an entire harem of slime girls. Okay. I don't think that's an addition I'm willing to make. The kitchen is choked with rubble. The only important aspect of this room is the secret window near the ceiling. Luthien used to watch the creatures of the lake from this window, and it doubled as an emergency exit and entrance. Hold on, one slime can divide into many. Oh, there you go. Yeah, no, that's fine. Just tame one slime girl, and just there you go. You got your harem that way. That works. Secret window can only be detected by normal physical means as a secret door. No magical means of detection works. The door leading to Area 5M requires 5 man-hours of work to clear away the debris. A fine set of silverware, worth 5,000 gold in total, is scattered around the room. Very good. Okay. So Leo says we need one slime girl. Feed her till big, then divide her into harem. Make it so. Add it down. No. That's not how this works. I'm reading a magazine. I can't just time travel that easily. It's a whole thing. It takes me an entire week to go and do that time travel shenanigans. It's not easy. I gotta get in the zone, right? Level 5. This is where Luthien's new apprentice was to live. Oh, okay. Luthien was just finished equipping the room when Flame attacked. Alright. That's sad. It might imply that the apprentice did show up and then was one of those people the dragon ate and or drowned. Weeping. Screw the magazine. Add the slime that we need to feed Fetish. Okay. I choose not to. I choose not to. The DM can certainly inflict that upon their players, but as a writer, no thank you. And I know you're just joking. It's fine. Alright, display hall. In this room are 6 disoriented paintings hanging on the outer wall depicting various scenes of mighty good mages battling the forces of evil. The paintings could be sold for 200 gold each. Alright, very good. Yeah, because now we're in the area where things are dry, and we don't have to worry about the water. Oh man, well someone's going up those stairs with some heavy footsteps. Alright, so this secret here can be detected like any kind of secret wall. And this has some minor loot in it. What's in 6 and then 7? So we're on the home stretch now. Oh wait, no, we're not there yet. P is apprentice library and workroom. Okay. Read this to the party only after it first enters this room. Oh man. Maybe I stop reading chat, right? No. No, we don't let the slimes do that. The door is unlocked and gives way easily. Suddenly you are struck by an avalanche of books, glassware, and furniture. Colored smokes and liquids pour from every crevice. The party is not harmed in any way by falling debris. Note any possible effects on personal protection spells, e.g. stone skin. The party enters the room to find a door is obvious to the upper... Door is obvious to the upper left of the chamber? What? That's worded weird. I think there might be something wrong there. Anyways, lining the walls of this chamber are rows upon rows of shelves and benches. They are now completely empty, except for one small bottle precariously balanced on the ledge of a table leg. It appears to wobble, and the DM should determine which of the first few characters the bottle falls towards. If the character rolls dex save, basically, you can catch the bottle, providing, of course, that his hands are free to do so. If he fails, the potion saves as crystal versus crushing blow or smashes on the ground. The potion is oil of slipperiness and should provide some comic relief for the DM. Got it. So the floor here is now slippery and the tower is tilted. There can be some fun stuff going on with the party slipping and falling on their ass. Understood. It's impossible to stand up in the room until the oil is removed, and the DM should modify any attempts at getting to area 5Q accordingly. So where's 5Q? Okay. So 5Q is this other room over here. Got it. Slippery like slime? Yeah. Yeah, it would be slippery like slime. Oh boy. Alright. What are you messaging, Matt? Very good. Thanks, Leo. Alright. Just quarters, the door is revealed less food. Okay, got it. So now we're in his actual bedroom. So this was the library and workroom. Okay. For some reason I thought that was the same thing as the quarters. Okay, so here's where he sleeps. Or would have slept. But it's a nice little bedroom with a little chest. Goo. Put the slime girl in the bedroom. No! We want this bedroom to remain pristine. I guess, how quirky is the wizard, right? He's just like, well, every boy needs a slime to relieve those urges with. Gotta make sure he's able to focus during the actual proper lessons. So I should probably get this boy a slime. And puts the slime in his quarters. A pocket slime, yeah. Yeah, okay. We can make this sexy slime girl joke work. But also I choose not to. The sheets are damaged and worthless. Aw, sad. But the fur and the pillows can be removed and is worth a little bit of money. The bureau... What do I mean by bureau? Whatever. Contains nothing of value. And the closet contains normal robes. And cloaks of varying color. No value. Okay. So he was stocking it with some basic stuff for his apprentice. Like this guy cared. And then he died. The chest contains nothing at all, but is locked. The key was formerly on top of the chest, but is now buried under the closet. The chest itself is worth 5,000 gold and can be used for a Leomund's secret chest spell if the replica is possessed. See area 5U. Okay. So there's a replica of this chest elsewhere, and it can be used for that fancy little teleporting chest nonsense, which is honestly a fun spell, and I like it. What about a fish woman? There's giant crocodiles outside. We can have a sexy crocodile. How about that? Tower level 6 display hall. This room. Okay, wow. Roll to seduce the croc. Sure. What'd you roll? This room appears to be the same as, though smaller than, the room below in area 5-0. Okay. So here's 5-0. 5R. Okay, got it. Oh, but it's got a secret. Ooh, very cool. You got a 7? I think you got 8. I think you got 8, Leo. That's what that sounds like to me. I don't think a 7 sounds like success. All the paintings have been crushed by falling debris, the stairs, and on this level. Okay. Yes, you are correct. You have been croc-vored. You did it. You fucking lunatic. The door on the south side of this room is a trap. See area 5S. And the real entrance to Uthian's former quarters is a secret door on the left. See area 5T. The secret door can only be detected by normal physical means. No magic whatsoever reveals its presence, although X-ray vision or a similar spell works normally. Okay. So this is a fake room and is trapped. You want to go through that secret. Got it. Trap room. If the door leading to this room is opened, all characters present are affected by a symbol of pain. That doesn't sound fun. Luthien cast this spell using a scroll he found, so the magic is at the 19th level of ability. Got it. Can your pocket slime and you goo together in the croc girl to get out? How expansive is the pocket slime? Is it just slime in your pocket, or can it bloop out into like a proper, larger form? I could see that potentially working if you suddenly fill this croc's stomach with magic creature-based acid. It probably won't want it in there anymore and may be able to force itself out. The only problem I see with that is that you probably just die as though you were consumed by a gelatinous cube at that point in time. So, I think the slime girl can escape, but I'm not entirely sure about you. You are also full of goo, but unfortunately it's not the type of goo that's going to help you right now. Your goo... yeah, alright. That's some magic goo you got there if it's protecting you. The secret door leads into a magnificent bedroom. The room, however, has been searched already by Flame's slaves. Tattered sheets lie on the remains of the bed and the rest of the furnishings. The closets, chests, and bureaus stand empty. There are no items of value in here. There is a secret trapdoor in the ceiling which leads to level 7, area 5U. As with the other secret doors in this tower, it is detectable by physical means only. Okay. Paladin PP. No. I don't comprehend, and I don't think I want to comprehend. Uthien's library and workroom. 5U, 5U, 5U. Oh, okay, so level 7 is like an actual level. Got it. I thought it was just the roof, because they implied that you could fly onto it. This library and workroom. Okay. You climb through the trapdoor and enter a massive library and workroom, occupying all of this level. Rows of shredded, crushed books, once priceless, lie on the floor. Piles of glassware and spell components have been swept into the corners. A few large chunks of crystal clear glass lie on a piece of red velvet cloth in the middle of the floor. A wooden stand lies beside it. A large hole is in the ceiling, opening through the wooden roof to the outside. Flame slaves dropped in through the ceiling. Slaves dropped in through the ceiling have removed most everything of value in this room already. Hold on, large holes in the ceiling. Okay, so that's how players fly in, is through the large hole in the ceiling. Got it. Can you make living books? I wish to have a living book pet. There's a living sword in this wizard tower, with a pretty good personality. Who oh, hold on a moment. You've DM'd me again. All right, what are you up to now? Oh, okay. Slime girl and a crocodile furry. Got it. Scaly. Thank you. You want a book? No. Just be a wizard, cast animate object on one of the books. There you go. You can make your own living book. And then it can fly around like a bat on its spine. You want a book wife? Okay. Well, I did mention animate object, and presumably you can animate it however you want. You want Simon Croc wife. Monster girl harem, yeah. No, it's definitely doable. I just don't think you'll succeed. Under a pile of rubble, the broken bones of a man wearing white robes can be found, with a small replica of the chest in his hands under his body. The chest is the matching component to the chest in Area 5Q. The command words are on a small slip of paper inside the chest. The shards of glass in the center of the room are the remains of a crystal ball of probably supposed to be clairvoyance. Only a wish spell or similar magic can restore it to working form. Got it. But it sounds like you can find Uthien, because there's only 2 people in here, and that's the remains of a second human. So yeah, maybe if you can resurrect Uthien and his night buddy and him can go on happy adventures if you have 2 of those high-level resurrection spells, which you probably don't even have 1 of. You have the power of God and anime on your side. Okay. Can't stop you from becoming the greatest Hokage with a monster girl harem. You know what? Could be right. God and anime, that is a force to be reckoned with. No, Ketsu, don't take the goo. No, don't do it. Alright, and then we're back to the end of this section, and then we already read the Big Valley and the Deep Gnome Settlement and blah blah blah. So we're to the conclusion section. I'm gonna go type up a summation of the tower, and then we'll do that. Wah, wah. The Wizard Tower had only 2 occupants. Oof, pardon me. When it was toppled. Uthien and his guard? Was that the term they used? Best friend forever? Possibly gay lover? Alright. Where is he? Okay, he did call him a knight. Alright. Knight bodyguard. Got it. Sir Frederick of the Wolnars. Sir Frederick of the Wolnars. That's quite the title. I'm just going to copy it. Oh boy. They've started a goo-based religion now. His bodyguard knight, and then Sir Frederick of the Wolnars. Uthien had been preparing for the arrival of his apprentice, but that's not the timeline we live in. Sadness. There's not a lot of loot in here, but a few things of note. Frederick. That's a good meme, a right proper classic. For reference, to those of you who may recognize it, there's Peter Parker with his glasses off. When he puts the glasses on. The glasses are labeled Bard Vision. The first image he's looking at, the Monster Manual. Then, when he puts Bard Vision on, he's looking at Monster Girl Encyclopedia. A right proper classic, that. There you go. Frederick's magic armor, shield, and sword are still on his corpse. there is also a Leomans. No, it wasn't Tiny Hut. What am I thinking? I've got 5e on the brain. I'll read that meme in a second. Hold on. Let me let me figure out what that chest thing was called. And not a woman's chest either. Lehman's secret chest. There we go. Lehman's secret chest. There we go. Except I didn't spell it right. Lehman's secret chest. There we go. Lehman's secret chest with its smaller counterpart on the top floor. No, it wasn't the top floor, was it? No, yeah, it was the top floor. Okay, we're good. Oh no, more slime memes. Alright, fine. Okay, it's just more lusting after slime girls. Very good. There's also Lehman's secret chest, and it's, nope, not possessive. Okay, like that. Okay. Frederick's sword is a +1 ego weapon named where is it? Wah. I wanted all about the sword. It was a good sword. I liked the sword. Mironus. There we go. Mironus. Mironus. After being alone for 120 years, it has grown quite clingy and will scream if left alone for any reason. So the example, including bath time. I like Mironus. Roll to seduce the sword. Alright, cool. You've seduced the sword. Now what? I like Mironus's characterization. It is also afraid of the dark. Okay. It is also afraid of the dark, so it has the light spell on continuously. Very good. What a good sword. At least I think it was +1. Oh no, it's +3! Oh, okay, wow, never mind. It's a much more impressive sword. So it's light on continuously. Has a handful of other spells as well. You are a wasp. Look upon your epic stinger. Okay. Sure. Strange creature. Alright, I think that's it. Oh, yeah, I can mention the dragon liking to drown people. The entryway, sorry, the underwater entryway with its intact intact portcullis was used by Flame to drown people for entertainment. He then ate them. Because of course he did. Very good. All right. So, conclusion. We're on the home stretch. Butt sword is unbeatable. Oh, I see. You've attached the sword to your butt, and that is your wasp stinger. I comprehend now. Fair enough. Oh no, I went too far. We're not at the next adventure yet. We're still at concluding the quest. All right. Should the party successfully defeat Flame, determine that there is no real invasion. Sorry. Oh, okay, got it. And recover the documents detailing the fate of the young prince. The king is incredibly grateful and very receptive to any requests from the characters. It is highly unlikely that the party members will ask for money after finding so much in Flame's lair, but spells and magic items are always on characters' minds. Remember that the king's reach and influence far exceeds his actual supplies and resources. The sages of the royal library are perhaps the most knowledgeable in the land. If information exists on a certain topic, it can probably be located among the numerous tomes and scrolls in the sage's keeping. Got it. So the king's reward likely isn't of monetary value, right? But you can reward them via knowledge, or you can reward them perhaps via a title, right? You could name someone like a count and say that this is your land and you can go and protect now, and I will build a keep for you to reign from, that kind of thing. So this is a good excuse to put the party into a domain level play scenario. You know what? No, I see the duel. You've won. You and your wasp style swordsmanship is unbeatable. You got it. Okay. Vice is onto something. Very good. There are a number of spin-offs possible after the characters finish their main task. The most obvious of which is to track down the missing prince, now 24 years old. Hold on, no, because he was... Is he 24 years old, or is this them messing it up again? Was he 9 before? Because 9 plus 15 would be that. So I think this isn't the module messing it up. I think that it messed it up before when it said 10, but I think he is supposed to be 24. You know what? I can just go look at my notes. What am I freaking doing? I'm a fool. I don't join the crusade. No, I've gone too far down. Okay. Let me just scroll back up here. Oh no, I didn't note how old he was. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whichever age is legitimate. But yes, they could go and find the prince, which is what I would recommend they do. This could be developed as a detective story or a rescue mission, or both. Ho, very good. The stink grip cannot be disarmed. I need no arms to hold myself. How powerful. The characters may also have recovered the false treasure map. Okay, yeah. The Wild Goose Chase. With the intentions of sending his enemies or any mutinous crewmen into a deadly trap as payment for their treachery. This adventure could be quite dangerous, but the trip itself might prove profitable. Okay. So there's probably not, like, actually any treasure there, but the friends they make along the way, might be some money there. Lucius' personal papers also provide the DM with an ideal medium for clue dropping and adventure prompting. a wandering group of pirates could have recorded the location of hundreds of interesting objects, places, and events on the high seas, which could lead to prolonged voyages if the parties in the mood. Fair. If the Sverfneblin, there we go, Sverfneblin, were discovered, a number of related adventures can be designed, including the establishing of trade with the deep gnomes, alliances with them, quests to help them against their enemies, etc. Finally, the encounters listed in the section entitled The Adventure may be expanded into adventures in their own right. Are more trolls on their way north? What will become of the bandit gang? What of the ogres and undead beings? The creatures may find that they have much to keep them busy in the western mountains. Yeah, there's a lot of loose ends here. There's a lot of things you can play with. Absolutely. Very cool stuff. All right. Oh, you have fun, Leo. See ya. Speaking of dipping, well, I'm not dipping long term, but I gotta use the bathroom, and then we'll start in on the next adventure. Hello. I also stirred my cauldron. Oh boy, hold on a moment. That might be serious. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. One of my friends is going through a rough patch. I gotta type something out for this. Okay. I think that'll have to do for now. I can talk to that person later. What's going on over here? Okay, well, that's fine. That's also fine. That's a good meme. That's not something I have to deal with right now. I'm just going to mute these servers real quick. About for 3 hours. That sounds good. Amount of time. I doubt the stream will be still going 3 hours from now, unless I go and play Pokemon or something, which I could. I haven't really goofed off lately. I'm gonna guess yesterday kind of counts. Anyways, let's get into the next one. How have I been formatting this? I go down to, and then I go space, and then I do the title. That's what it was. Guardians of the Tomb. Oh, sorry about that delay. It was not my intention. Sometimes real life is more important than this kind of stuff. Tomb. And good, I have been doing it right. I'm just gonna grab this for now, and then we'll just edit it and make my life easier. Who is this person? Carl Smith. Carl Smith, you think yourself worthy. Well, you were correct. Here you are, in the magazine. Part of the Dragonlance design team. Oh, wow. Good for you, Carl Smith. And worked on, like, well, fancy, okay, Swords of the Undercity, an AD&D module in the Lenkmar universe. Okay. He's currently a freelance writer and contributing editor for Model Retailer magazine. Got it. This AD&D game encounter takes place at an abandoned shrine to a forgotten thief. There we go. Possibly an avatar of some evil, well-known god of thieves. Okay. So the tomb has something to do with a god of thieves. All right. Group of 2 to 6 characters is recommended, each 3rd through 5th level. Okay. And this is an AD&D adventure for 2 to 6, I believe it was. 2 to 6. Bip, bip, bip. 3rd through 5th. Okay. 3rd through 5th. Alright. And then they recommend a cleric? Okay, a cleric would be extremely helpful, and an assortment of magical weapons is necessary. Got it. Bringing a cleric and magic weapons. Sorry, bringing a cleric is recommended, and magic weapons are necessary. Very good. Okay. Pop, pop. Get to it. I realized I didn't really summarize, like, the conclusion here, but this was kind of a lot, and a lot of that stuff is either implied or was kind of stuff that I feel is covered up here. So I think we're good to go. I don't think I did a whole lot of conclusion stuff for all these other things either. Yeah, I didn't really do that. Okay, cool. But yeah, no, I like the whole adventure with the dragon and whatnot. I don't know what to make of it. The other ones, there was so much there to work with, and there's a lot here too. It's not quite as easy to connect. There's still mountains. That's a common theme. The idea of people of power at one of those 2 cities at either end of the 4 trails, right? You could easily put the king or whatever other ruler equivalent there, and then you can still have them send the party one of those 2 directions, right? You can just mirror it if you wanted to go with the top city, and then if you go with the bottom city, then it's just a matter of like you send them off map and into another thing of mountains. So, because we do know this is a mountainous area, right? Because there's the mountains where the 4 trails are, and then presumably there'd be, if you did make that city the same, it would just be some more mountains around the corner or around the bend that way. Or perhaps it's the same stretch of mountains and they just like go this way and it's just a matter of you circle back around like that other set of mountains, right? There's all sorts of things you can do just by playing around with the cardinal directions and reshuffling the map structure. So there's definitely ways to easily combine it with the other quests. It's just also, it's a lot, and you need to probably go and design a quest for the prince, possibly for the fake pirate treasure. You might want to keep the fire giants in mind and figure out what's up with them. There's also the wizard and his fellows, and presumably that magic sword also has knowledge of what was going on in the world 120 years ago. So that sword could also be a source of like deep lore. So you really do need to know the region pretty well and know what the sword had been aware of and had encountered, right? So there's a lot of things you need to do to work it all together, but it's definitely all doable. Like, assuming that this last adventure is also workable into it, you could pretty cleanly fit all these adventures together. It's just the glue between them and the side quests and whatnot. That would create a lot of doing. At that point in time, like, you pretty much have created an entire adventure path, right? Like an entire campaign book in and of its own, right? So I'm not sure that's something I will do myself, but it's definitely something I could pitch and give guidance towards in the video, and then we can go from there, right? If I have the time and I really care enough, yeah, you could adapt this and turn it into like a whole proper campaign. But that's not what I'm doing today, though. Anyways, this scenario may be dropped into an ongoing campaign as the player characters are traveling along a minor road in a forested region. The time is late in the day. Okay. The path. A fluke of the afternoons Hold on. Yeah. Okay. A fluke of the afternoon's sun. Sorry. A fluke of the afternoon sun's rays reveal a narrow trail, partially overgrown with straight, young hardwood saplings and a multitude of weeds leading off the road you travel. Okay. The weeds are leading off the road. Okay, got it. It was just a very long sentence that it was technically structured correctly. I'm just not good at reading it first try. Under other conditions, you would have walked past it. Okay. So the sun's rays reveal this narrow trail that otherwise would not have been visible. So it seems as though the party is drawn by fate, perhaps. It seems as though this is entirely a little skippable thing. The party might just be like, and just keep on going down the road. Just make a note of it to come back to it later. But otherwise, this is a fun little diversion that perhaps a religious character might feel fated to or called towards. A successful examination by a barbarian or ranger or skilled forester shows the man-made trail to be unused by men or large man-like creatures for several months. The saplings took at least 4 years to reach their present height, and though they do not block the path, their unbroken state shows that nothing of any size has passed this way for years. Any player character successfully checking finds no evidence of traps or other beings in the area. In fact, no wildlife inhabits this area at all, and no birds are seen or heard. A fact that a druid, and possibly a ranger or barbarian, would notice at once. Okay, very good. Get that there, and I want to go and write this down real quick. While the party is... Would they be journeying on the road? Was that something that... I flew after no, it doesn't necessarily mean to. While the party is traveling. A ray of sunlight draws attention. How about that? Draws attention to a old, not really hidden, a noticeable trail will be a good word for it. An old, decrepit, how about that? Decrepit. Okay, there we go. Decrepit trail they otherwise would have missed. Yeah, that works. Following it, they come to a swamp, and then we can go read about that swamp. If the player characters follow the overgrown path for a mile, they come to a clearing in the woods, in which stands a dilapidated shrine on an island in a shallow marsh. The marsh is approximately 200 yards across, but only 5 feet deep. It functions as a moat for the shrine. Okay. Let me make sure I want to reread that so I can hopefully understand it. Follow the overgrown path for a mile. They come to a clearing in the woods, in which stands a dilapidated shrine. Middle. On an island in a shallow marsh. Okay. The marsh is approximately 20 yards across. 200 yards across, but only 5 feet deep. Functions as a moat for the shrine. Okay, got it. So there's this tiny little island where the shrine is, and there's just thick marshlands, and then forest. Okay. Got it. So Here's the forest, and then marshlands that leads to a little shrine island called a lake. I guess a marsh is like a lake. It's a very shallow lake, though. They said it was only 5 feet deep. It's fine. It counts. It counts. Razor weed. Ooh. Fun stats for whatever that is. How long is this adventure again? Seems like it's like outdoor hazards, and then there's some fun stuff at the shrine, and then it looks like that's the end of the magazine, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is the end, and there's nothing else left in the magazine. Got it. Okay. How about this? A mile down the trail. Oh, hold on. Oh man, my eyelashes are all messed up now. Okay. A mile down the trail. They come to a swamp. That works. I feel like I could word that better, but it's good enough for now. 200 yards across. Okay. So if that's 50 yards, then another 50. Okay. So I think its radius would be 100, but its diameter is 200 yards. If I'm doing 200 yards across and using that little measuring tool loosely. All right. A swamp. The swamp is 5 feet deep. Actually, did they use the word swamp or marsh? I should double check. They use marsh, okay. So marsh. While the party is traveling, hold on. Through a forest. That is relevant here. Well, we'll say through/near a forest. A ray of sunlight draws attention to an old, decrepit trail they otherwise would have missed. A mile down, say that trail, how about that? Come across a temple in a swamp. Sorry, they come across a marsh. What that? A marsh. A clearing. Let's just say they come across a clearing. How about that? And then we can describe what's in that clearing. I don't know why it's such a struggle for me. Goodness gracious. The clearing features a temple in the middle. Yeah, we could do comma. Surrounded by a marsh. Wait. Oh, no, marsh. I got there. All right. The marsh is 5 feet deep. And then I think that it looked like there were like some hopping stones you could go. So we'll wait and describe that. The overgrown path is not difficult to follow, although overhanging branches. Okay, got it. It's just flavor text to kind of set the mood and let you know what it feels like. A Godeline cleric has a 5% chance per level of sensing without use of magic the presence of profound evil nearby. Well, that's neat. This presence seems to come from all directions. Oh, wow. Okay. Any character who rolls a percentile score equal to his intelligence, expressed as a percentage, gains the further feeling that he is being watched, though no watcher can be detected. The use of a detect invisibility spell has a 5% chance per level. Okay, blah 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 blah. Could gain a brief glimpse of a dark, featureless human form in a shadowy part of the undergrowth, but the figure then moves away and no other figures can be seen. A cleric's attempt to turn undead produces no noticeable effect at this time. A detect evil spell produces a vague reading of evil all about the characters. Pardon me. A detect magic spell also produces a vague reading. An exploratory probe of the murky green water around the small lake's shore reveals that 3 inches below the surface of the water lies a bridge of stepping stones leading out from the shore directly across from the northern entrance in the overgrown structure. Okay. So not the way they came from it. If they walk around the edge, then they can take this little stepping stone trail. Very good. 3 inches below the surface. Yeah, that's nothing. Your shoes are going to get wet, but that's about it. Well, that's not true. Your shoes and, like, your pant legs, but it's trivial. Slime and aquatic residue coat each stone. Yeah, probably going to be pretty slippery. They may cross at a slow walking speed, but characters with dexterities under 13 and those who are traveling at a lower than normal speed due to extra encumbrance must check to see if they fall in the water. Check consists of a saving throw versus paralysis, with failure indicating a fall. The water is only 5 feet deep, but it is filled with razorweed. See below. No other animal life exists in the lake, and a fall in itself does no damage. Those attempting to run across the stone walkway automatically fall unless they are unencumbered, with dexterities of 17 or greater, and pass a saving throw noted above. A falling runner has a 40% chance of hitting a stone step in the fall, doing some damage. Okay. And damage from the razorweed is automatically raised to the maximum possible on the first round of such damage taken. Got it. Yeah. If you're running and falling headfirst into a hazard, I get it. Anyone attempting to fly or levitate across the lake discovers unexpected turbulence. Warm air over the lake contacts the cooler air from the surrounding woods, causing sudden drafts. The chances of turbulence disturbing a flight over the lake is 75% on warm days only. Okay. This still feels like some magical phenomena, though. I know that they're trying to make it seem like it's natural, but my assumption is this is magical phenomena. Characters find that maintaining flight by animal, spell, or device is difficult but not impossible. Flight speed slowed by 1 inch per 6 inches of normal speed. So flight at 12 becomes 10. Okay. However, those levitating across may find themselves at the mercy of the winds, even being pushed into trees at the lake's edge or into the shrine itself, causing 1 HP damage per round, or down into the lake's razorweed. Got it. So flying isn't super viable. You either have to wade through the razorweed or slowly make your way via the little path that you find at the top. Which I don't think there's even a guarantee that you find that either. Sorry, my nose is really itchy right now. Okay. Razorweed. 1 patch. Armor class. On dry land. Hey! Four in the water. Okay, got it. Okay. That's why. It's got 4 AC in water. Very good. Movement nil. It's got 2 hit dice per square yard. Okay, got it. Oh. It destroys armor. That's nasty. It looks like it's got some between magical resistance and lessening their rolls to hit. It's not the easiest thing to cleave through either. Magic resistance, intelligence, okay. Yeah, it simply exists. It is just a plant. It is a hazard. It is not malicious. It just happens to be there, and it happens to destroy your armor. And I assume also deal damage. Oh, damage slash attack, see below. Okay, I should do that. Razorweed looks like normal aquatic grass, but both the sea and freshwater varieties are more blue in color than their normal counterparts. A player character has a chance of noticing its saw-toothed, sharp edges by casual inspection. This chance is equal to percentile roll of 5% per intelligence point of the character. Oh, pardon me. Anyone who deliberately examines the weed or who has encountered razorweed before has a 95% chance of knowing it for what it is. Fair enough. Razorweed occurs most often in tropical seas and lakes, though occasional patches appear in temperate climates. A dry land species that resembles a Spanish bayonet in size and shape is known as well. Okay. And then it just goes on to keep detailing the razorweed. But this is mostly mechanical stuff that we don't have to care about too much right now. Because presumably we'd convert that into whatever system we're using. Yeah, still just talking about what happens to your armor and whatnot. Any treasure found in a patch of this material is purely incidental, left over from previous victims. Treasure types J through N times 5, Q, and C, magic only, are suggested. Okay. So you can put some treasure in this little marsh underneath the razor stuff, because people have come here and died. Patches of strange weed often grow in and around razorweed, making for a deadly combination in certain oceanic areas. Razorweed burns easily if dry, but wet razorweed takes only half damage from fire. Submerged razorweed is, of course, immune to fire, which it currently is. It is submerged. Razorweed is immune to lightning and electric. Okay, this just keeps listing stuff about razorweed. Hold on, one moment. Destroying a square yard of this weed is sufficient to protect a human-like being from further attacks, unless a new patch of razorweed is entered. Okay. Horse size quadruped. Okay. Got it. And then we get to the shrine. All right. So a lot of this was just talking about the hazards of the swamp, which is razorweed. Marsh is 5 feet deep and filled with razorweed. It is all just one word? Yes. Okay. Semi-hidden 3 inches below the surface of the water is a stone path towards the island. Those with low decks will have difficulty and risk falling into the razor weed. All right, cool. we just abridged all of this page and most of this page. I'm sure this is all very important for back in the day for AD&D players, but goodness gracious, there's got to be a way to simplify this hazard. If I were to adapt this, I'd go and read through this and do what I can to adapt it in another system, but otherwise, like, goodness, that's just a lot for a random plant hazard in the swamp. Okay, so the shrine itself gets like 1 page and a little bit over here. All right. The island in the swamp is only 140 feet across and basically circular in shape. Though the ground is soft, it is strong enough to support anyone's weight up to 1 ton. Creatures weighing over this amount must move at half normal speed. Weeds grow to a depth of 3 feet around the aisle. Okay. Okay, got it. So the weeds grow in about 3 feet, but then like the center of it's fine. The building is an ancient tomb to a legendary thief born many hundreds of years ago named Colum the Swift. The shrine is block-like, 90 feet to each side and 30 feet high, and each side has a door 10 high by 6 wide in the middle of it. The granite walls are 4 feet thick. There are 4 open entrances, 1 for each point of the compass. Carved above each door is a name. North is pride, east is hate, south is treachery, and west is greed. The player characters may enter through any entrance they wish. Light enters the building through 4 5x5 windows covered with rusted steel grates which are set in the roof. Oh, okay. That's cool. The spaces between the bars are each 1 foot across. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty substantial, actually. All right. Anyone checking for traps as the building is entered notes none around the doorways, though the floor on the inside of the shrine by... What? Oh, yeah, okay, now I got it right. The floor on the inside of the shrine by the doorways appears to have been scratched and marred in the past. Interestingly, the stone forming the door forms in perfectly smooth... Sorry, what? Gosh dang it. Interestingly, the stone forming the door frames is perfectly smooth. There we go. That makes a lot more sense. Unlike the rest of the building. Okay. So the doorway tiles are perfectly smooth, but the rest has kind of been scratched up. It has a very weird detail. Okay, I want to read through that again. Give me a second. Okay. Anyone checking for traps? The floor on the inside of the shrine by the doorways. Scratched. Got it. So the floor is scratched up on the outside and the inside, but the doorways aren't. The inside of the building makes it apparent that the structure is a shrine of some sort, possibly a temple or tomb. Huge twin statues set back to back with their arms raised stand... Okay, no, that makes sense. We're fine. Huge twin statues set back to back with their arms raised stand in the middle of the huge room on a stone platform. Each statue depicts a thin, narrow-faced human male wearing belted robes and sandals. The eyes of the statues seem to glow with light and follow your every movement. No weeds grow between the flat stones making up the floor, and no sign of life can be seen inside. Odd bits of debris litter the area. Words carved on the northern face of the stone platform say, in an old variant of the common tongue, Colum the Swift, Lord of the Night. Of the best I was, but you must put aside the old ways to see that everything here has a place. If you steal from me, I steal from you. Why tempt futility and disturb my sleep when all things must be where they are? Things taken will come full circle, for though the day calls you master, my servants rule the night. That's cool. I like that flavor text. If I was a player character and the DM read me that, I wouldn't want to steal from this grave. I'd leave. I don't want to fuck with that. I don't know what that's gonna do to me. Goodness gracious. Only like my most foolhardy characters would dare like be like, okay, well, it's time to pack it up. Goodness. All right. Okay. And there's a bunch of different things carded. All right, this is all right. I'm becoming a bit overwhelmed again. Once on the island, the temple. I guess I should refer to it as a tomb. It wasn't actually a temple. Just we'll say structure. Structure. A cube structure. The tomb has 4 entrances. One per, open. 4 open air entrances. 1 per cardinal direction. The tiling outside and inside is scratched, but the doorways are unmarred. The doorways tiles are unmarred. That's a strange detail I'm hoping will become relevant. Two... How do they describe it? So, huge twin statues set back to back. Okay. 2 statues, arms raised, stand in the middle of a huge... Candles. Oh, the eyes of the statue seem to glow with light and follow your... Oh, okay. I missed that for some reason. There's also creepy statues here. So if this menacing ass script wasn't good enough, the statues also watch you and their eyes glow. 2 statues of Colum, was it? Colum the thief? Colum the swift. Colum the swift. Stand back to back. Their eyes glow and we'll say seem to, because I don't think they actually confirmed it, seem to follow you. The plaque is a menacing and cryptic. Hey, there we go. I got there. All right. Cryptic warning against robbing his grave. All right. That brings us back up to speed. I'm not gonna write it. Well, I guess I could copy and paste it. Oh, no, never mind, because it's selecting this area over here, and I don't want to deal with that. I just do this. Oh, I could just do that. Hey. You can include this. Pardon me. Let me make sure that's correct. Is it indeed here? Oh, no, it's formatting it differently. Sign the old ways and see that everything here has a place. If you steal from me, I steal from you. Why two for each other? Okay. No, it looks like this copied right. All right. I'm going to reformat it, though. Womp, 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 womp. All right. And let me come over here just in case. Bop and bop and bop. All right, cool. Actually, okay, good. There are plenty of lines down there. All right, so I can go italics. And we can say column of the swift lord of the... boo. All right, fine, I'll type it. Column the swift lord of the night. Column the swift lord of the night. Wow, what a cool guy. What a gamer. All right. And then let's see what's up with this. This inscription is an oblique reference to the traps and the guardians of the treasure. Okay, the odd debris upon examination proves to be bits of armor, weapons, and equipment from many years ago. What? There was odd debris? Eustace says okay. Oh, here it is. Odd bits of debris litter the area. Okay, I just didn't take notes of it because it's disguised as debris. It's like that. It's ancient weapons and armor. Sounds like more than just odd debris. All right, whatever. Proves to be bits of armor, weapons, and equipment from many years ago, left lying on the floor of the building to rust and rot. No bones are present, however. The owners were turned into undead shadows. Okay. Ooh. Part of the debris is clustered near the 4 doorways or in corners of the shrine's interior. None of the debris is magical. Okay. The 2 statues, standing with widely separated feet and joined at the back for support, are of column. No, I got that. The thief buried in this tomb. Each figure holds its arms out at shoulder height, palms up. Their palms correspond with the median compass points. Okay, got it. Statues on arms. Holds its arms out, palms up. Okay, so palms up like that. Got it. But then they're out at those angles, pointing to the corners of the room, basically. Because if the compass is like that, and those are the entryways, then the corners of the room would be what they're pointing at. Hold their palms up. Alright, the statues are cast from solid bronze and are now covered in verdigris. I assume that they are now like brown, not rotting, greening or something like that. Statues have eyes of engraved glass steel crystal, okay, which catch all light and reflect it, giving everyone inside the shrine the impression that they are being individually watched. The eyes radiate faint magic. Okay, cool. Even making a detect traps or locate secret doors roll discovers that several of the engraved words on the stone engraved words on the stone are on sections of stone that may be pressed into the platform. Oh, as either a trap or secret door trigger. Okay. So the words on the engraving are buttons. Right. If any characters push in the given words from the epitaph steal from me, a secret door opens in the space between the heels of the stone statues on the stone platform. The secret door reveals a stone sarcophagus with a lid weighing 300 pounds. Lifting the lid reveals the skeleton of a man in rotting robes with dried, dark skin pulled over his features like fragile paper. The body is that of Cullum, the master thief, though by now characters may believe Cullum to be a lich, vampire, magic user, etc. The skeleton is not undead. Clutched in the skeleton's left hand is an old steel dagger with a clean blade. Okay. The dagger, like the skeleton, is not magical. An old cloth pouch containing a bunch of gems worth some good money lies on Cullum's ribcage. Okay. Also in the pouch is a slip of paper reading, "I steal from you" in Ancient Common. Alright. The paper is very fragile and breaks apart with rough handling, requiring a mending spell to reassemble. The skeleton does not respond to a Speak with Dead spell, nor does it move under an Animate Dead spell due to past protective enchantments. The gems radiate magic and evil. Okay. In addition, treasure may be found in the palms of the double statue's hands. Each palm holds a colored glass steel crystal statuette of a man, 10 inches high, colored blue, green, red, and amber. The statuettes, because of their workmanship, are each worth 750 gold. Each also radiates both magical evil auras. Both magical evil auras. What? There's more than one magical evil aura? Whatever. I'm sure that's a thing. None of the 4 statuettes is immediately visible from the ground. Got it. Because so the statues are tall, and they got their palms up, so you can't really see it unless you kind of like crane your neck. Got it. Or climb the statues. The moment that either the gems on the body or the statuettes in the hands of the twin statues are handled, each of the 4 entrances to the tomb is instantly sealed by a wall of stone spell cast at the 18th level of magic user ability. These walls of stone can only be removed by a Dispel Magic or Disintegrate spell. Each spell affecting but one doorway. These walls remain in place for but 1 day, disappearing again at dawn on the day following that on which the treasures in the tomb were disturbed. Anyone caught in the doorway as the walls appear is hurled into the tomb's interior, taking basically 2d8 damage. Within 2 to 5 turns following sundown, or within 2 to 5 turns if the theft occurred at night, the guardians of the tomb approach the shrine through the surrounding forest, drifting through the trees like shadows, which in fact they are. Okay, hold on. So right after sundown, or if it's already nighttime, then right after the treasure gets triggered, the shadows return. Okay. And they're standard shadows, as far as I can tell. These shadows were originally followers of Cullum, who were slain as thieves and reincarnated by their deity as shadows to guard their former guildmaster's tomb. That's nice of that deity. Over the centuries, these shadows have been joined by the spirits of grave robbers, wanderers, and others who are trapped in the tomb, until a small army of these creatures lurks in the area. By day, the shadows hide in the forest and avoid all contact with living creatures, although their presence drives away all wildlife. At night, the shadows gather at the tomb if summoned by magical triggers on the gems and statuettes mentioned above. There, the shadows attack intruders mindlessly until slain or until dawn comes, at which point they leave again. The shadows float over the water of the lake as they approach the shrine, then rise into the air and enter the tomb through the grated ceiling windows. Okay. So they come in through the ceiling. They don't come in through the doors. The DM should count the number. The doors could be blocked up with stones, so that makes sense. The DM should count the number of PCs and NPCs inside the tomb, double that number, and add a random number from 1 to 12, so d12, to get the total number of shadows who will attack. Wow, that's a lot. Alright. So let's say the party is 5 people. So that's doubled to 10, and then a d12. Let's say you rolled a 7, right? So 17 shadows attack. That party of 5 people is what they're saying. That's quite a lot. These shadows will pass by anyone who is not in the tomb unless they are attacked. Oh, okay. Cool. So they only care about what's inside the tomb. And they're only going to attack either at sundown if there's someone inside the tomb, or if someone messes with the loot. At all other times, they're totally benign. Not all shadows present in the area come with each visitation. Perhaps 100 shadows are present in the area around the Shrine of Colum. Each new group appearing only at dusk if summoned by the magical traps in the tomb. Oh, okay, got it. So either they're there at night and they're just passive until you trigger the trap, or they're summoned as soon as you trigger the trap. Okay. If a whole group of shadows is slain, and if the gems and statuettes are left behind without being further molested, the surviving characters, minus any who are turned into shadows to join the unliving guardians, may escape at dawn when the walls of stone vanish. Anyone who levitates up to the ceiling bars may attempt to bend bars to escape, but note that strength draining by the shadows may harm this escape method unless done during the daytime. These magical traps can be activated any number of times, even if the walls of stone are continuously destroyed. Got it. So the traps regenerate. The treasure was meant only to cause the deaths of an unlimited number of beings. Oh, hold on. The traps can be activated. So does that mean they respawn? The treasures respawn? Only the use of a wish or an exorcism. There we go. To remove the trigger on the tomb's traps. The shadows in the area must be dealt with, as they will wander away, no longer bound to the Tomb of Colum the Swift. Okay. Magical traps can be activated any number of times. Well, if they only activate when the treasure is removed, does that mean the treasure respawns? That could be abused. I'm just gonna say that that doesn't happen if I were to adapt this. I don't think that's what's intended to happen. But anyways, this is a fun little encounter. It's an opportunity for the party to just get some free loot, assuming they can survive an onslaught of shadows. Alright. In the statues... Upturned hands are small figurines worth a pretty penny. All right. The words steal from you. Let me make sure it's not I steal from you. I steal from you. Okay, got it. The words I steal from you on the plaque is a button. It opens a hidden chamber between the statues. In it is a sarcophagus with, I'll say housing, how about that? Housing Colum's body. He is not undead, nor is his dagger magical. But if you take the pouch of gems on his chest, his shadows So I will say the trap is triggered. Trap is triggered. The trap is also triggered whenever one of those figurines. Oh boy, I'm really not being able to spell today, I guess, right now. Figurines is taken. Magical walls of stone spring up from the ground to block all entryways, short of bending the bars in the ceiling. Party is trapped. Actually, we'll say, or magical methods of escape. Party is trapped. Okay. A large number of shadows are summoned to the tomb to kill the party. If the party survives until dawn, the stone walls retract. All right, I think that's it. There's a bit more to it. I missed out on some like the magical things and this detects faintly magic and evil and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, this is a fine summation of it. Oh, I don't really know what to make of this. It's just a neat little encounter. The party basically is out exploring and they find the tomb of this thief and maybe they get some free money out of it, or maybe they just get wiped by shadows. Tell you what, though, I probably would have just discovered this and be like, nope, this ain't worth it, I'm leaving, and then just left. And if the party wanted to stand inside that cursed place that detects as though it's magically evil, and if they want to try and steal from this guy, so be it. They're allowed to do that, and when the stone walls come up, I'd just be like, all right, well, I guess that's that then. I guess they're dead, and I leave. I mean, I could climb on the ceiling and try and help them. Depends on what kind of ranged options I had, or I could make the bend bars check potentially, that sort of thing. So I'm sure I wouldn't like abandon the party. I'd still try and help, but it's just like, yep, I figured something like this was happening. Because I'm pretty sure double the party's number plus a D12 would probably wipe most parties, or at least be a massive inconvenience. I guess it depends, because this is 3rd to 5th level. At 5th level, maybe they stand more of a chance. But I feel like it'd be pretty dang hard, unless they had some busted magic items. I don't know. I don't know how stuff was balanced back then, but it seems like it's got a high likelihood of wiping the party. Or at least killing a good chunk of them. Overall, I like it. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts. There's plenty of opportunity to combine it with the other things. Basically, all we really need is a forest, right? There's plenty of opportunity where you're traveling through areas that could have been forested in our weird combined little module thing we're working on. So we certainly could include this. But of all of them, I think this would be the only one I wouldn't include by choice. I could include it, and I actively choose not to. Because I think that this would be a little bit too brutal. I think, depending on the level and the amount of shadows that get summoned, you could probably still include it. But I think double plus a D12 is a bit much. Maybe just plain old double, right? Or maybe a 1.5 multiplier, right? Rounded up. That could work. especially if they're of a level to be able to dispatch a shadow each and then have some energy to maybe dispatch more, right? I don't know. It could be doable, but I think I'd probably tweak it a little bit. I mean, it's balanced by just the party deciding not to go here, because they already could have ignored the path. They could have seen the razorweed and been like, F this. They could have decided that this path is too slippery and not worth the hassle. And then even if they did get all the way there, they probably would have detected that it is evil and that the stone here next to these 4 entryways is suspicious, and these statues are suspicious, and there's this warning message. Holy fuck, let's just leave, right? So they had so many chances to turn back, and so that makes the wipe feel more fair and worth it. But also, I'm not sure it's worth doing, right? Like, this is optional content for a little bit of loot. I don't think it's worth risking the death of multiple player characters, if not a party wipe, just to maybe give them some loot if they persevere and, like, did everything perfectly and decided to not quit and just turn back when they were threatened, right? Basically, you're rewarding their bravery with some loot, but I don't think that loot is worth having to fight through shadows for it. At least not to the amount that they did. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point in time. But that is the end of the magazine. I'm gonna go up to the letter section. If something jumps out at me, I'll read that. But otherwise, I think that's just gonna be it. And then in terms of the video itself, I will script that another time, because my brain sure is a-going. I don't know if I want to keep streaming today or not. If I do, it needs to be something where it's okay if my brain is dead. Unless I catch a second wind, then maybe I do something. Anyways. Okay, University of Kentucky. Just a nice little story told by Mr. Roger. Alright. Got it. Got it. The letters was the big thing I missed, because I don't care about the thing by Roger. I probably should. Probably should read the thing by Roger. Okay, Roger's the editor. But for right now, I don't care. Sorry, I don't want any adventures. Thank you. Not today. Bubble bag. Fair enough. This sure does have a lot of adventures. Letters. Dear editor, I see in Dragon Magazine. Okay. Module Magazine you're about to produce. Why not call it Worm? Fair enough. Worm and Dragon. That makes sense. Sister magazine to Dragon Magazine should have a related name. Worm gives a wonderful feeling of antiquity, perhaps due to its unusual spelling. Can conceive on, can also conserve printing space. It's a very short word. Okay, so it's just Mr. Alan Struthers pitching the title Worm for this magazine. And of course, we know they went with Dungeon. Fair enough. It also shows us that, at the very least, Dragon Magazine 107 was already out by the time this got released. Very cool. My first order's business as editor periodically was to come up with a name for it. Was this called Dungeons and Dragons back then? Well, yeah, it must have, because AD&D exists, so yes, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, cool. So to me, Dungeons was probably like the obvious choice. If it's for a module magazine, most modules back in the day were dungeons, right? So a companion magazine to Dragon Magazine would be Dungeon Magazine, because Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. I appreciate this guy's attempt to pitch Worm, but I'm pretty sure that this guy's putting on airs down here, and they kind of already knew that it was going to be called Dungeon Magazine. Oh, well, no, it looks like they were actually thinking about some other things, because they wouldn't have listed all those examples just to be kind to, like, this writer. Okay, I'm convinced. Oh, this could have been Viking magazine. Ooh. Or Arcana magazine. DM magazine. Gateways magazine. Multiverse magazine. Orion magazine. Unleashed magazine. TMM. TM magazine. Dungeon Ears Survival Guide magazine. I like that one. Dungeon Ears. Dungeon Propaganda magazine. Worm and several variations on that name were also considered, but these, because of trademark restrictions, previous usage, confusion in spelling, and with other products, or unattractiveness, were soon dropped. Perhaps 50 to 100 names were generated. This brings up the next letter. Okay. So this is the very same thing, a separate magazine. Okay, cool. So Randy in the past had suggested to Dragon Magazine that they make a magazine about modules. Good for them. Oh, okay, cool. So Randy like pitched Dungeon Magazine and then they made it. Good for Randy. Forum type column with help for the DMs called Blue Lightning. Okay, and another with help constructing homemade modules named Drawbridge. All right. Editorial does not address if you plan to include text in the new magazine or if articles will be found in Dragon Magazine only. But as your editorial also said, decisions. Okay, got it. Okay. So they didn't end up making it the type of magazine Randy pitched, but Randy pitched like the content variety and the name. So good for you, Randy. Because it was an obvious and perfect complement to Dragon. Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, cool. This was what I brought up, and that's why I thought it was like the obvious choice. But it looks like they didn't want to go with the obvious choice, so they struggled for a while and tried to figure out something else, but then went with it anyways. They could have also been stubborn and just not wanted to do something that a letter writer pitched, because I know some people are like that. But I don't know. It is what it is. Skip Williams was the first person who mentioned this title to your editor. Okay. We had also received... So Skip Williams stole Randy's idea. Oh, what a villain. And I have notes from meetings in which the name Dungeon Adventures appears as a possibility. Okay. In time, it was this name that was selected. A dungeon is an adventuring environment, and adventures are what this magazine is all about. Yeah, that's fair. These have all been adventures that could... Any individual one could be expanded upon for an entire campaign. Like, I'm playing around with the idea of combining them all, right? But any individual one could be expanded upon. Well, I mean, the Elven one and the Tomb one, and not so much. They're tiny, like, little add-ons to an existing campaign. But you know what I mean, the actual adventure ones. The main focus of Dungeon Adventures is on modules, not on gaming articles. The latter belong in Dragon Magazine. The letter column also serves as a question and answer column for correcting errors in previously published modules. Oh, okay. Got it. So the letters column is for correcting things whenever that becomes relevant. Which is very relevant. There was a lot of errors in this magazine, so I expect issue 2 to have a lot of corrections. I don't know. They might not actually do that. I understand that changes in Dragon Magazine may see modules published in a separate magazine. I do not favor this, as modules are a feature of Dragon Magazine that I enjoy. If they are published separately, I may be forced to choose between Dragon Magazine and the module magazine due to the restrictions of my budget for such publications. Okay, what? Okay, he's just voicing concerns. Oh, he's also talking about all sorts of other little systems. Hey, Call of Cthulhu. Very good. That still existed back then. Nice. Marvel Superheroes. I've heard good things about that. Leaving your lair. Oh. I'll take the moving one. Okay. Oh, lots of stuff about long discussions. Don't want to read it right now. Okay. Planning publishing. It's only publishing module. Okay, got it. More on this topic again. Okay. We may not always use box text in our modules, but the parts of the text meant only for the dungeon master's eyes are noted in the modules as such. Your editor isn't a big fan of reading sections of module text verbatim to players because it takes away from the spontaneity of the game. Nonetheless, it is important to know what to tell the players and what not to tell them. We'll make sure the distinction is clear. Okay, so people are concerned that people might get spoilers or not know what to read, right? Okay, very good. Might be interesting. So it might be interesting readers to know. Okay, it might be interesting for readers to know. To see the blow by blow. It might be interesting readers to see a blow by blow review of a previous module as an article in a subsequent magazine. Okay. Beyond just the little error, that was not all right. Yeah, I think I understand the meaning though. This falls outside the scope of our periodical and retelling an old adventure. Okay, got it. Fair enough. Very polite of them. And then we have the Dark Tower of Kabalar, which, yeah, I can understand why they put it front and center. Like, this was a great little dungeon and nice little adventure. The beginning is very harsh and deadly, but this was solid. Of all the things in here, I would most want to run, if I was just running it by itself and not, like, with other things. This, and then probably, if I had to pick another one to go vanilla... No, that's not true. I'd run the first 3 vanilla. They're all really great. Grekrit's Lair was great. Where is it? Assault on Eddystone Point was great. And then, of course, the Kabalar Tower here. There we go. Was great. I'd run any of them by themselves. And fairly vanilla. Obviously for more modern sensibilities, we kind of tone down like the death and destruction, right? We can still challenge our players without like wiping the party every 5 seconds. I'm over exaggerating, obviously. Like the beginning of this module, right, was very deadly in my opinion. But past that point, it was just like a normal dungeon crawl, and like they're probably not gonna die. Like none of it stood out as particularly deadly. The troll in the dark and the orcs might have resulted in some deaths, but I don't think the party wipes. I think the party either wins before they wipe or they leave, right? So I think that the rest of the dungeon is fine. It's just the brutal climb combined with suicide bombing drakes and then baby-faced magma men that you can't hit or deal damage to. That's likely you are fighting while the rest of your party is climbing up the side of the tower. That was just a lot. That was just a lot. And if any single player goes to scout ahead, the Mimic Stare could solo that player, potentially. So that also is potentially pretty deadly. You probably do need like those next 2 party members around the curve and the stair there to help you out against that Mimic. I guess it depends on what level you are. I think that was one of the more higher level adventures in this area. Yeah, if you're 7th level, you probably are just fine against that Mimic. But my point is that like there's a lot, and I mean a lot of things that can kill you before you even get into the dungeon. But then once you get in the dungeon, everything's fine. I mean, there's the explosive rune on that book, which maybe takes someone out, but fine. I don't know. I'd like to think that was balanced back then to not just one-shot people, and that I just don't I'm just not familiar with the damage numbers, right? Anyways, I'm rambling now. I've already talked about this, and I will cover it again in the video I have planned. So I need to figure out that script, but there really is this kind of rough draft, and then combing through the individual little passages on my own. This is definitely a good start. Definitely a good start. Looks like it's 8 pages worth. Is the last page just nothing? Okay, yeah, most of the last page is nothing, but and then the top page was like stream intro for the most part. Yeah. So we'll go -1 page, right? But 7 pages worth of notes. That's a summation of these adventures. Pretty good stuff. I'm pleased with it, and I really like these adventures. I'm very tempted to just like combine all of them and do just one adventure path. Like rename everything, obviously, so I can publish it and not worry about people like coming to hurt me. And then have a section at the very beginning inspired by the works of, and then I list the authors and the works, right? Like we still give credit where credit's due, but we of course are doing a lot of heavy lifting, combining elements, combining characters, in some cases maybe nixing characters, maybe tweaking some of the details here and there, rebalancing everything. It would be a lot of work. You also need to probably expand upon a lot of these other little side things, right? Like Arnhem, I don't freaking remember the wizard from who's Grackhurt's father, right? Expanding upon his little places and what's up with Kabalar, and expanding on the prince and whatnot. There's just a lot of additional little lore that you need to write, not just to like kind of flesh out this area and make everything like cohesive and fit together, but also because there's a lot of things that players could go and do in this area. So you do need that region to be robust enough to allow for that. There's also the concept of a nearby port potentially, where people could learn about that pirate guy and turn in a bounty for him and possibly go treasure hunting and whatnot. So you also do need to figure out like what the city at along the coastline is like, right? So that's definitely something that you need to not necessarily flesh out. Like the DM can probably do the heavy lifting for the city themselves, but they at least like have maybe like 2 or 3 pages giving like a general like overview of the city and what sort of resources and things the players are expected to have access to in this city, and then the DM can like make up their own stuff. And maybe you have like some rollable tables of like some random events that the DM could then flesh out that exist in that city, right? So that's definitely a resource that you probably have to make from scratch. Anyways, I'm just gonna shut up and stream now. But yeah, this was a good magazine. I'm excited to make this video. So push the happy buttons and then stick around for that. If anyone's still watching, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. That's that. Let me push the funny button. Whoop.